battle because they have long casting times, but they last a long time. So
Yes.
since we kind of know we're about to go into a battle, I kind of feel like it's probably smart to pop mine now. So I'm probably gonna do that. I think I have one on my character, Benediction. I think Benediction is the one that allows me to do the reroll.
Somebody got up there. I know that. Okay, I remember the Tigers got up there. Why they mad? Oh, I'm like, yo, why these Tigers mad? Oh yeah, because Claudius did giant fucking summoning. I know these Tigers ain't that.
No, Benediction is creature touched. That's the one you could do on other people. That's 10 minutes per level. It'll last a long fucking time. So I will cast that shit now. I think I have that on Sin for the free. For the free. For the free. Simply for the free.
Yeah, I guess the drama will pop. Yeah, her miss will put this shit. They're both flying? Oh, yeah, they're both flying.
Oh no, Cynthia doesn't have it available.
They're both flying. They don't really need to take the stairs.
I could do it. That's what I could do it. Valinum could do it.
Oh, that's right. No, they stayed. That's right. Okay, so well, only one of them needs to. That's what I would guess. Uh, probably stays with Valenum and them. Although no, that's right. Now they can't even pop theirs. I mean, they could, but they can't. Would it break, or would it break only for the enemy? Because they can't push themselves up against the tigers with it either, because the tigers are summoned creatures also.
Mm.
But I don't think it breaks the spell entirely. I think it just breaks the effect for the tigers. So I think they'll be. I think they're good in that aspect. Yeah, because I remember the group making their way up the stairs, and then I think by the time they got up there was when like your characters had noticed this this night not this hag like woman was opening up the cell doors, releasing some of the prisoners inside, and banking on like stalling your characters with whatever the hell was released from them. And she ended up releasing some extremely powerful beings, which goes to tell your characters that like um a place that is imprisoning a fucking demon lord is obviously going to have prisoners of like is going to have like other prisoners that they're not quite, they're not exactly demon prince level, but they're going to be insanely, you know, continent wrecking kind of fucking outsiders or other creatures that have been captured, taken here, imprisoned, driven insane. So then Tigers got up, and I guess the commands for them was to just go up the stairs, and they're just probably gonna automatically like defend themselves against any sort of attacker. Now, with that being said, I doubt Claudius and Cynthia are going to be still sitting in that area. They probably have moved in here, and I don't know if they chose to like go, if they chose to just fly up or just follow everyone up the stairs.
Um, I don't. Cynthia would rather fly because that way she'd be able to stay behind the group, but still be within range to like support them. But if she was like walking with them up the steps, she could get caught in an area effect like
All right.
ability.
So
So
like they're not tightly grouped up, but they're still it's not like the party's split or anything. Okay.
right.
So now I would say yeah, these two can fly up to where like everyone's at, but not be crowded up on that stair and walkway because it is getting crowded. So I would say Metsuwa probably would have stayed on the stairs. The drama would have flew up also because what she'll do is she'll use she'll guard the casters per se. She'll tank for them
Mm.
just in case they get attacked like while flying. Which there is there's still that one demon flesh golem that's still flying about, and I think this is the same level of the tower where Hexavore is at. Although by the time your characters that came up these stairs, and by the time Claudius, Nidrama, and Cynthia had flown to this height off the floor, you don't see. He was originally over here, but you don't see him or any of his little Demodon entourage. It appears they had gone. It appears they've climbed further up the tower, so they're like, as your characters are going up, they're trying to stay like a floor ahead of you. But coming on this floor, yeah, leaves. As for that hag that was jumping around using a chime of opening, um, she doesn't seem to be on this floor either. She and none of your characters have seen her like vanish or disappear or teleport or anything like that. Not that she could teleport, but um, um, so chances are she also rushed upstairs as well. Probably went to go see if Hexavog had anything else that he wanted her to do, or maybe she had something else in mind. Your characters aren't sure. You just know that like um, the main wardens of this asylum prison are climbing up just as your characters are also climbing up, but they're trying to throw obstacles at you along the way pretty much like when Luffy was running through Impel Down and they were sending all sorts of shit at him. Um So yeah, it appears a Baylor was released from one of the cells in this area of this floor,
Hmm.
and then across on this balcony, this level, not a balcony, but more of a platform of the floor that you're on. Um, this strange creature that your character's never seen or possibly might not have even heard of. So you could roll a knowledge planes, or I would say either planes or religion. Either one would work.
Okay. Let's see what good old Cynthia got popping for that. Her knowledge, religion is slightly higher than her knowledge planes. So we'll go with that one.
But let's see. The Baylor does not look like the Baylor does not. It has its typical uh, sword and whip. Obviously, why would they keep the fucker armed? So, but
Weird though. I thought that the Baylor could produce those naturally, like their weapons.
it kind
So
of
I guess like
okay.
supernaturally
It
locking that ability from the
it kind
Baylor.
of it kind of flip flops.
It
So
does.
so it's all like depending on the fucking edition of the game.
Okay.
Okay, I can't recall what it was in second edition. The way second edition made it look like was that like they were. I think the way they made it was that like they were always armed with a vorpal sword. It wasn't like an extension of them. And then the whip was an extension. I think they were able to just like summon the flame whip in their hand or whatever. Um, third edition had kind of the same thing where the vorpal weapon was an item. I don't think it said anything about it like this because you know how some creatures have like a natural weaponry, but if you kill them or disarm them, like
It
it
disappears and like
disappears
goes back to them.
or like teleports back to their hand. Like there's no way you can just get free fucking weapons like that.
Right.
Pretty much, um, like no, this ain't a loot drop for you. Uh, um, I think it was the same in third edition. It was the sword was like a natural warple weapon, and then the whip they made it seem like the whip was also it didn't it was also another weapon of theirs. I don't think it was an extension of them. Like they didn't just summon it, or if they had, or maybe I think they had a whip, but then they can shroud the flame in a whip. I can't recall because they, like I said, with the Balos weapons, that shit. I know fourth edition did their own thing. Fifth edition, I think fifth edition has it where it's an extension of them, where like the Balos summons the fucking Vorpal sword. It's a part of him. If he dies, it goes along with it. If you disarm it, you're not keeping it. It's gonna go right back.
Right.
He's just gonna make another one, and the same with the whip. Pathfinder version has it where the whip. I know Pathfinder has it where any um any blade that they wield, they could pick up a fucking yeah, they could
Oh,
pick up a longsword off the fucking floor and a rusty longsword on the fucking floor of a cavern,
and it becomes
and
that.
it becomes it'll in their hands it'll be a +1 vorpal weapon or +3 vorpal weapon or some shit like that.
Mm,
So like the vorpal quality is more of like an extension of them, which
right.
I like that better in a sense.
That's way better. It makes more sense in game two, and it's just the same thing of preventing free loot.
For real, because when you get to a level where where you and your team's like, yo, we can solo a Baylor in like a round. So hey, wizard, just keep casting planar binding.
Bro, he's like, let's go farm some Baylors.
Let's just farm
Bro,
Baylors.
let's go farm some fucking vocal swords and get some loot. Even if you sell them half price, like
Just
that's a
cast,
lot of money.
just
Like,
cast Greater Planar Binding, and we're not looking to bind the fucker. You can release him as soon as you summon him, because we're just gonna beat his ass and take this. As for the whip, the Pathfinder version has it where like the flame off its body will cover the whip. So like it's the same thing. I think it's like the flaming part of the whip is just an extension. You know, if you destroy the whip or disarm the whip, then it's just the whip.
got you. So this poor sap is like a fucking.
He's just got his. I mean, he's covered in fucking Baylor flames, and that's pretty.
He's
But he's got two. He's got two.
He's a 5th edition Baylor in the wrong like edition. He's just trapped. He's from a different dimension where they play like 5th edition mechanics. He's got caught over here fucking around.
Well,
other Baylors are like, damn nigga, how you not just summoning your weapon? I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Although I like the way when Pathfinder does their monsters, a lot of their monsters have variants. Like you'll see Purple Worm, but then they'll have like 3 variants. Like there's a version there's an underwater version of a Purple Worm. There's one that's in volcanic vents. It's the same with like an Assassin Vine. There's the Assassin Vines in like a forest, but then there's also like Assassin Vines you can find in more like a underground thermal areas. It's the same with they do the same with a lot of their creatures. The Baylor, they were like, oh, you could have it where Baylor, instead of fire, it's lightning. You know, they've got
That's crazy.
They've got lightning qualities as opposed to flames.
So you got a water Baylor? That's weird.
Probably. I mean, it's. I mean, I like that. There's like your typical Baylor, but like as they progress or evolve or whatever the fuck it is they do to like acquire their power or whatever, there's other means and other variants.
So could you have a negative energy Baylor?
Yeah.
Damn.
Now, I think, but they made it where like they've explained it in a way where it's like, your average Baylor, if a Baylor springs into existence, this is what you're gonna bump into. But if it's a Baylor that's been around for a while, like it's going to develop unique abilities of its own. And that there was like that goes for like most fiends, If you're doing a quick and dirty encounter, then use it straight out the book. But if you want like a particular pit fiend or a particular Merilith or whatever fiend, alter some of their shit around. Make them a little stronger. Add class levels. Do this. Have it. Give them a special ability that's just unique for them. Like maybe the Baylor has the ability to instantly command, demons under his control. In a limited fashion. Demogorgon can do that, but Demogorgon is the prince of demons. So like you can have it where there's a Baylor who has like a weaker version of that. All sorts of things you can do, but yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if the characters bump into a Baylor that can summon its own Vorpal weapon and whip. It probably developed that ability. It probably, or maybe it was spontaneously created that way. It is the Abyss. So conformity is another thing you're gonna find in a plane of chaos and evil. But this Baylor, oh no, not that its fists aren't gonna be deadly. It's got slam attacks, and those slam attacks are followed by fire damage. So, or if it decides to grapple somebody. All right, so what we got? The drama got the 36. Millennium got the. Oh, that's his religion check. God damn.
Not Cynthia's.
Ah, Cynthia's.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm
Yeah,
like,
right.
Millennium got
He
that.
was
I'm like,
that
okay, make sure it says Cynthia's 46, Claudius is 41. Okay. Um, one sec. Oh, shit. One sec. Uh,
So I gotta be a bad.
it's 15? It's 15. Is it 10 or 15 plus challenge rate? I think it was 10. It's 10 plus challenge rate. 10 plus 2. He beat the DC by more than 5. She beat the DC by 10. Drama beat the DC. Okay. The drama looks horrified when she looks at this being right here.
Damn.
She looks horrified. As for Claudius and Cynthia, from your extensive knowledge and planar studies, or even religious studies in the case of Cynthia, what you see. Why don't I? Hold on. 162. Let me get a decent description. Okay. Telepathically, you guys can hear, and as you think of it in your minds, um, the appearance of this being, this fiendish-looking being with angelic, with also partially angelic features, but wrapped in these chains, enough chains to where like it's also a form of like light armor for it, but the chains are also it's weaponry, as the chains are hanging off
Yo,
the handles.
this creature is copying off of Titans really
Oh
hard.
yeah, your characters, your characters are reminded of the Titans, although that's where the similarity ends, because it's not unlike the Titans, which is like, I mean, those motherfuckers are covered. This one um, does not have the ability to like control chains and whatnot like the Titans. Um, there might be a sages would postulate that there could be some sort of connection between this being known as I mean, it goes by many names, but the most common one that your characters call is Ravanas. So these
I thought
Ravanas.
that was like her actual name.
Oh
That's the
no,
name of the species.
yeah,
A pretty name for a species.
I thought it was a unique name too. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, you're
they
into
call
the sea.
Ravanas. Um, so what are they? Oh, the Ravanas. Um, there's not a whole lot. They're even for like the outer planes. They're extremely rare. Um, so not really a whole lot is known about them. They've got these fiendish wings, as you can see. There's this darkness that seems to both fuel them and permeate throughout them. And their shadows, when you see the shadows casted, it's not, they don't have their own shadow. It's usually a shadow of an angelic figure or celestial figure,
Damn, no wonder she's horrified.
but looking as if they were trapped
Damn.
and tortured. They are said to be hunters, binders, and devourers of celestials.
Damn.
That is their sole purpose is
Celestial hunter.
they're celestial hunters.
They hunt and devour motherfuckers.
They're known to rage that virtue comes easy for the lucky and privileged, and they have the most bitter of hearts that only yearn to subjugate the holy. The shadows appear as pitiful angelic silhouettes that claws for release. Often it is said that it is the form of the latest celestial that they have destroyed. They are unable to see their own shadows, and remarking upon one is said to be especially dangerous. Their boundless hate that they feel towards celestials and angels in particular has led more than one unwise scholar to suggest that they are bitter fallen angels. However, there's no evidence of that, and you end up pissing off a Ravana even further if you even mention that. It is also said that they hold a special grudge against another type of outsider or another type of extraplanar being that your characters have never encountered and have only vague references to from various cultures of the Forgotten Realms, known as psychopomps, who are beings that are said to oversee the progression of souls. They have a particular hatred for them as well. Not much from your knowledge checks tells you. You only know. So your characters only know just a couple of things that could help you in your battle against a Ravana. For one, you know they're extremely powerful and dangerous. That they're very, very good at soul trapping. Soul trapping. Binding souls. Usually, and typically they carry gems, of course, to store these souls that they capture.
Soul gems.
But it prefers to use that ability on celestials, which is why Nidrama is looking not just horrified, but a little fearful because she knows she's going to be an immediate target.
What about Messer? Does he consider celestial or no?
The Ravana probably would mistake him as one due to the fact that, due to his template, him being a saint. So one of both of them could be like her main focus. Or it, I should say. It's an androgynous looking creature. It's not he or she. Now, assuming that since it's trapped here, chances are, I mean, not chances are, pretty sure it's not walking around with any gems right now.
Well, that's a good thing.
Right. So its ability to soul bind is useless if it doesn't have a receptacle in which to like store the soul that it's taking. However, that still makes them doesn't make them any less dangerous. They have other abilities they can rely on. They do have a a suite of their own innate magical abilities, being able to dispel great magics, to plane shift, to possess their enemies. It would require a good weapon to bypass the damage reduction, and it's able to drink the life force of those it kills, healing itself. If they, after delivering a final blow to a creature's.
So after a coup de grace,
pretty much, or if it drops you the low enough hit points.
if it drops to low enough hit points, so it isn't even
like if you're negative, like if you get dropped to like whatever negative, whatever your Constitution score.
Oh, okay, got you.
Like if it deals enough damage to kill you,
or outright without the coup de grace.
Right.
Very dangerous opponent.
The only other thing that could work in your character's favor is the fact that they're driven, and they're clearly every prisoner in here is driven insane. So their actions are going to be erratic and possibly not even make any sense. If they had their full faculties, they would have been a different story.
So basically, they're powerful and unpredictable. That doesn't make me feel any better.
So here's obviously the first one up. The first one's up here. All these other tigers who bump into this Baylor. And then these three characters are up here flying. As a new encounter with these enemies, since the last encounter had ended when those enemies had departed, when the demon flesh golem flew up and Hexavog fucking started rushing up the stairs. We could all roll initiative.
Millennium's initiative. Plus 12. The first one's Valedum, the second one is Cynthia. So let's go back playing.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, Ravana. It's like an actual name. I think it's based off.
It looks like an actual name. I thought that was her name.
Yeah, no, doesn't seem to be based on anything. I know because Pathfinder likes to do a lot of monsters. Not a lot, but like some of their monsters are like based off of like real world mythological creatures.
Uh-huh.
Even urban legends, like they have they have like legitimate stats to like the urban legend of the Jersey Devil. It's not called the Jersey Devil in the book, but when you look at the description and read it, it's literally the like the Pathfinder version, fantasy version of the Jersey Devil.
I know they got the Chupacabra, don't they?
Yeah, they have the Chupacabra stats.
Mhm.
Although Wizards of the Coast did those stats in 3.5 also. Well, actually, no. Actually, Paizo did, because Paizo was publishing Dragon Magazine at the time, and I think one of their submissions was like a collection of creatures, and one of those creatures happened to be the Chupacabra.
Mm.
I think it was like Meso. That's what it was. I think it was no. It was a creature catalog. It was a creature catalog. It had like 10 new monsters of various types, and one of them happened to be the Chupacabra. So there is a 3.5 version, but then Pathfinder does have their own version. I didn't know the Mothman was like an American urban monster legend myth, but they have like the stats to the Mothman as well. So they like doing, and not just like, American folklore monsters, but like creatures from like all cultures. Like they love statting out. Like the Loch Ness monster. They have like the stats to that, although it's not it's that's not the name of it. I think it was called the started with an O. I forgot the name of the creature, but it was literally like like a fantasy version of the Loch Ness monster. It even has a special feature where it's like a 20th level non-detection ability on it. Like you cannot find it. It's really, really hard to find with divination magic. I'm like, wow, these motherfuckers were in. Oh man, they do have the stats to Sasquatch, like shit like
I was
that.
about to say they got it. Well, Sasquatch is
Oh yeah,
different from
Sasquatch.
Bigfoot, or did they just lump them together?
No, they
Tell
did.
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. They did Native American Sasquatch. Yeah, they did.
Okay.
And then they have and then I think they went a little further, and they have like an evil, like savage version of the Sasquatch. It's like I think they're from the same stock, but they're like more degenerate. I forgot what they were called, but they're.
Because I think they're supposed to like steal your skin and like.
Are you talking about skinwalkers? Yeah,
Oh.
you're thinking of skinwalkers. The skinwalkers are, I think, like the Native American version of like lycanthropes. Yeah, they're like they. I think they can. They're like demons that can transform into like animals, and they'll attack you in the woods and take your skin or some crazy shit like that. I don't know the details, but it's supposed to be like their version of a were creature, of a shape changing monster.
Yeah, and they'll like wear your
Shape-changing beast,
skin and
yeah.
pretend to be you and shit.
Yeah. But yeah, Pathfinder. So, yeah, a lot of them
And
monsters
in
are like that.
Jamaican culture, they have a similar creature called a dronkro. And basically, what it does is it'll kidnap it'll come in and kidnap your firstborn, and then kill it, eat it, and then wear its skin and pretend to be like your child so that you can take care of it. And the way that you would keep it out is um you take a bag of rice and you spill it at the front of the door. So because the Droncro has like this idiosyncrasy where it's forced to count, but it can only come out at night. So by you putting the bag of rice at the front of the steps, by the time it's done counting each grain, the sun would have risen, and so it would have had to like abandon like trying to break into your house to like take your
Yeah,
firstborn.
yeah. Pathfinder would do. They would stat that up. They actually would, and they would, if they ever do like an adventure path series based around an area that where the culture is very Caribbean like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or
Which means
I
it'll
could
probably be somewhere in Shoal, if anything.
not. Oh, you mean if the creature was in Forgotten Realms? There probably.
Yeah, it would be probably off the coast of Cholt or something, like its
But
own like little
for
island.
Galarian, they would they would stat that up and they would put that because when they did their adventure path that took place in the Mwangi area, which
Uh-huh.
was like heavily based off of like ancient um uh like various ancient like African empire kind of civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they I noticed that their monsters that they were using for that adventure path were like African folklore monsters. Some of them were like African folklore monsters, like the Mokele Mbembe. That
Mm.
they have the stats to that,
Did it
but
have its spots for Anansi and shit like that?
they don't do.
Like the gods and
That's
shit
what I'm
like
saying. They don't. They'll take like the monsters from like folklore and legends and myths, but they steer away. I mean, rightfully so. They steer away from like duplicating anybody's religion from the real world into the game. Like
that? Okay.
Mwangi would have like its own religious structure. I think it does have maybe some similarities to like how like maybe like a
Because Anansi isn't so much a god as he is like a mythical being. Kinda like Monkey is to in like the Asian
okay,
culture.
right, yeah. He's like, yeah, I see what
He's
you're
like a
saying. He's like the
trickster
African.
who does things. He does things on a divine level, but he's not like
He's like
a
their version
god.
of yeah. He's
Don't
like their
worship
version
him.
of monkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I could see them doing something like that because they did do the stats to uh. Why can't I remember the fucking name? Uh. Oh, Krampus. That was the name.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Oh, because they put him. I think it was Bestiary 5. I'm looking through Bestiary 5, and I was like, Krampus. They got Krampus in here. What the fuck? But there was no stats to like Kris Kringle. I wish there was.
Oh man.
I really wish, but I think because if I was to stat up Kris Kringle, definitely an Archfey. Um, so almost demigod like in like power. So like definitely like a challenger rating 25 and up kind of like being definitely and and it would be a unique being obviously an Archfey because like I've always seen like if you would you do a fantasy version of like Santa and like D&D or Pathfinder and everything, definitely a Fey creature, a Fey being, an Archfey I should say, who represents the spirit of giving, like
Right.
because that's what Fey are supposed to be like natural manifestations of not just like nature but concepts in nature, and the concept of giving is a natural thing of the fucking universe. So there would be Fey creatures that would that would spring forth in the Fey realms um as spirits of giving. And I would have it where Kris Kringle is like the Archfey of like you know that would be like my whole creation if I was to put him in the game and like how I would have him stat up. But and I'm like, man, I'm surprised no one's fucking done this yet. The only stats you have on Santa Claus is 3 point, not even 3.5. I think it was 3.0 where they did a web
I thought it
enhancement.
was a Dragon magazine.
No, it was a web enhancement online. It was around
Oh,
Christmas
okay.
time, and they were like, "Oh, here, Merry Christmas. Here's some stats for Santa and some of his reindeer, and even some magic items that he has to like emulate what he, like his magic sleigh and his bag of his super bag of holding, I should say. Fucking they were like, you could surprise this character to your players around Christmas time, have it where he shows up and gifts them with magic items. I was like, yeah, let's do some Narnia shit. Okay. Um, I mean, I'm holding on to that, but no, I love the idea. It was awesome because um, but like at the time, and I get it because it was the time period of the game's rules, but they had him statted up as like he wasn't a fae. He was humanoid. He was human. And he was like a level. I think they had him as like a level 14 druid, and like his reindeer were awakened reindeer. Like it was very, it was with the rules what they had at the time. How they. But right now, shoot, definitely like Archfey. Like I would want Pathfinder to like stats to stat someone like him up. But yeah. Where'd Petrona go?
I don't know. I thought he was maybe refreshing his computer.
Oh, he's refreshing.
I thought so. I'm not sure for a fact. But
no, I see him popping up.
Okay.
All right. Did I add her on the? Yeah, I did. Initiative for this guy was like 1 point off of all of them. 38 and 39. 39. Metzor has. You said the first one. Oh, the first one was delayed. The second one was Cynthia. That just leaves. Zino's got 20. What did Metzawar's? What did he get? The fucking locust got locust. I feel like it's the locust. And
Let's go at 11.
let's go get 11. Alright. So, did I roll any traumas? No, I didn't. That's sad. And one more roll. Plus. Oh, I messed that up. That's plus. Okay.
Did we roll knowledge for Baylor already or not?
Yeah, you can.
Knowledge plain, right?
Yeah. Knowledge.
You mentioned from Baylor to be unique and so forth.
$36. 10. But we passed by 5. Okay. Well. A lot can be said about the Baylors. But foremost, they are among the greatest and most terrible of the underworld creatures found in the lower planes. Spawned from the depths of the abyss. They typically rule as generals over demonic armies, masterminds of schemes to seize power and destroy the innocent, and even among their own kind, Baylors are feared as they motivate their kindred to spread terror and misery. Damn. Who be driving by like that?
I got my window open. Maybe I should just close it because it's my computer.
Man, people be speeding.
My apartment is right by highway Route 21, so it's like a main road right there. So
man, people.
Yeah.
I live in a college campus, so I hear this shit all night.
So the Baylor what Claudius is able to relay is they have the chaotic, chaotic evil beings of pure chaos and evil, part of the Tenari demonic race, which means they're immune to electricity and fire and poison. They have a resistance to acid and cold. Of course, they're going to have some spell resistance on them. The Baylors are known, fortunately in your case, and this one's not armed, but they're typically known to have a weapon that can sever heads off easily, and a whip shrouded in flames. Speaking of their flames, they can cover themselves in flames that burn extremely hot. To get through their damage reduction, one would need a weapon that is both blessed to be, blessed or holy, being able to bypass creatures with damage reduction good, as well as being made of cold iron. They have a number of spell-like abilities. Their deadliest being the ability to stun enemies with just a word, or in their case, with just a thought. Teleport, breaking down great magics.
Do their teleport work here?
No. Fortunately, this one won't be able to take advantage of the teleportation. Able to summon storms of fire and throw out and to summon, not summon, but able to conjure the most vile of blasphemic magics to rain down on their enemies that are not evil, in alignment. And as your characters are aware that summoning does work here, this Baylor, if it chooses to, could summon one of its own, and it's been said they could even summon another Baylor. And dealing with two. The fuck?
So the one he summons would then have a weapon, right?
Yeah, the one he summons would. Now, typically, Baylors are loath to, if they're gonna summon, they usually summon, weaker demons. They're loath to have to summon, a Baylor or a Merilith. If one does summon a Merilith, it's usually because the Merilith works for them. But to summon another Baylor, they're very, very loath to do that because it shows weakness. However, Baylor's not in its right mind. So if its mental faculties want it to summon something, it probably will summon another Baylor, out of more of sheer insanity as opposed to a necessity. There you have it. So the first up is Claudius. Start this off.
Right, so we see two opponents, right? The Rivana and the Baylor, correct?
Yep.
They're opposite of each other. Baylor looks very dangerous. It has a lot of shit that can fuck up the whole party at the same time. I think he's gonna focus on trying to neutralize the Baylor for now, or hold him back. How big is that Baylor?
Large size, so it's taking up a 10-foot space.
Okay, so Claudius is gonna take out one of his scrolls, Force Cage scroll, and he's gonna do the 10-foot one, windowless Force Cage on the Baylor. I'll let the party deal with the Ravana.
Claudius takes out one of the scrolls, unrolls it, reads the magic words, and as magic vanishes, it coalesces into like a mist, a bright blue-white mystical like um, bar, right? And then the bar it like towards extends out as if to shape itself into like a box. Instantly appears over the head of the Baylord and like comes down on top of him, like and trap him inside.
All right, so now Claudius, he's gonna try and move out of line of sight from that Ravana. From the roll that you made before, Ravana, does it have any AOE attacks or any like range attacks that he should be aware of? I don't remember.
None that you guys characters can recall. And it doesn't other than whatever innate magic it has. The characters aren't sure what sort of ranged abilities a Ravana would have.
What's his main form of attack? Does it have like melee weapons?
All you see on the Ravana is the chains that are like wrapped around. It's got a couple of chains. It's got a pair of chains that like wraps around like its arm and dangles down from both hands. And they're spiked.
All right, so I'm gonna stay with Claudia's gonna stay right there with Cynthia and the drama for safety. So he's gonna get behind the drama though, right there, right behind him. Shield, to be shielded. And okay, in the Dire Tiger, I'm gonna send them out there. I'm gonna have this one leap over the Ravana. Wait, what was it?
Go, Tony, go. Provoke that attack of opportunity.
Yeah, Tony's gonna try and fly over, like up over here, like the other side, try to jump.
Like jump towards that balcony.
Yeah, try to jump right. Jump right and attack. And then the other one is gonna try and
jump all the way. Hold up. Try to jump on the other side of that Ravana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Try to pincer. And then this one, have this one, what's that thing called? What freaking lions do and tigers? When they charge? Forgot.
Pounce.
Pounds, there we go. Thank you, Matt. I can always count on you when it comes to words. You're gonna pounce, but over here, just to leave enough space there for like the rest of the melee crew to be able to get in there and do the work.
All right.
Tiger's probably gonna miss that.
Let's see if it makes the jump.
Can they just like go up that stairs since it keeps going upstairs and then jump on the other side?
You mean go up so they're coming up from these stairs. These stairs are on the other side.
Like if they were to go to
this is a wall back here. Hold on.
Oh, that's a wall back here?
Yeah. Like this diagonal area is like a wall, really. That it's a wall because these stairs that these three characters are on, like it goes down. These stairs go up.
Okay.
Oh, so if they were going to go up like one flight of stairs, it's not that they can just jump on the other side.
Right. If you wanted to get to a different platform, you would have to fly or leap over to it. Yeah. Because each of these platforms is connected to only one set of stairs.
I see.
Well, two sets, I should say. One that goes down.
Also, one that goes up, one that goes down.
Yeah.
Also, on this level that we're at, we can't just like, let's say someone walking, can I just walk around?
Right, right.
No.
Right.
Fly or jump, I guess. Right?
Yeah, you would have to fly or jump over these these railings.
Got it. All right, so I guess they're leaping over there.
All right. I guess not a running jump. Roll an acrobatics jump for the Tigers. They only got +6, I
That's it. Now they got 4. All right.
believe.
All right.
Not master jumpers. A lot of weight. A lot of,
Hold on. Also,
not built for jumping.
got it. Oh, hold on. So that means that this person over here, the Rivana, to get to us, she has to basically fly to us. And vice versa.
Yeah, if she had to like get in melee, she would have to
Same
fly.
thing like, let's say like Velena and Meswell. If they want to get her, they basically have to fly over there pretty much.
Right.
Got it. Should we engage or just keep going up? Then again, she's going to fly to us anyways. Might as well just deal with it. Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, if the freaking stupid Tigers fall, if we just, go up that other set of stairs. First one. Yep, that one fell. All right.
So this tiger was said.
That's his move action. Yeah. For his standard action, Claudia's going to instruct that tiger to basically go up this stairs then. This stairs for the other one that fell. For the one that fell. Let me run for the other one now. Oh shit! Maybe that one made it.
It was here. It was trying to jump from here to like here. You said.
Yeah.
Okay. They made the. Okay, so that one made the jump.
Yeah. The other one that didn't make the jump, Lewis. I'm instructing it to come up these stairs over here. Got it.
Got it.
With the standard action that it has left. And then, since that was like a running leap, can that also be a pounce? I mean, it kind of makes sense. You jump in,
Yeah. The Ravana is definitely within its reach. Because it has a 10-foot reach, right? So it should be able to hit the Ravana, because the Ravana is only 1 square away, which is 10 feet.
Pouncing requires it to charge. Okay, so I would say it makes a charge attack.
It ran and
jumps during the charge.
Yeah, make it a charge, yeah.
And it can make a full attack, including 2 rake attacks. Nice. Make sure I got this right. +2. Increase my attack. +3. Increase the step. +4. Size bonus. Strength and con. -2 dex. So its attack was supposed to be +12, but it increased in size, so it's it's +19, +21. Should be a +21 to hit. Anybody have the no, it's luminous armor. That's only if they're attacking. Okay. Against the target. Okay. So jumps has a +21 to hit. Oh, it's charging. So +23 with 4 claws. Oh, +23 with 2 claws. Is that multi-attack?
Claw you said, right? 2 claws?
Yeah.
So claw number 1. Claw number 2.
Why is the rake plus 18? That doesn't make sense. Okay, so since it can rake after the pounce, do claw number 3 and 4. And then we do the bite at plus 20 at plus 16. Plus 16 for the bite. All right. So we got 35, 29,
28, 35, 29, 37 was the highest, and 33. Probably gonna miss.
The Ravana. Oh yeah, that's right. Since Claudius can fucking has the arcane sight. You can see an abjuration magic aura on it. You can see an abjuration aura. Would it be a weak aura? Yeah, because it goes based off of spell level, which is weird. It's a faint abjuration aura. Although the faint, moderate, strong, it applies to a spell level, which I don't know why they did it that way. They should have done it based on caster level. Don't know why they did it based on spell level. But just because it's faint doesn't necessarily mean it's not a very beneficial spell, because obviously the stronger the caster.
Right. It can skill something with the caster levels.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I wish they never did detect magic that way. But
it's almost like greater magic weapon, right? It's only a level 3 spell, but if cast by a level 20 spellcaster, hey, you're getting plus 5 weapons.
Right. So what Claudius, So what Claudius can see is that there's a faint abjuration aura on the Ravana, although he's not aware of like the exact power, the exact strength of innate magic that the Ravana has, but it's considering its status, it's definitely very strong. So that abjuration that's on it is also providing it, something strong to help protect it. You can tell that it's enhancing. You notice as the tiger's attacking, some of its attacks as deadly and strong and swift as they are, they seem to. There was a few of those claw attacks that just like kind of like veered off, like off its target. A couple of other, the 2 back rake attacks, it went to scratch, like to cut into the Ravana, and it stood there, like this as it scratched. Those big, massive claws produced a ton of like sparks from scraping against the chains that's around its body, and just failed to cut. And when whatever flesh it did manage to scrape against, it failed to pierce the Ravana's natural flesh. Then it goes to bite, and the Ravana just like maneuvers out the way of the bite attack quite easily. Every attack, it failed to deal any damage to that Ravana for the tiger.
All right. So there you have it. Definitely higher than a 37 to hit.
Oh yeah, that's right. Claudius already won. Force cage. Valenum.
Valenum does fallback strategy on himself.
He has fallback strategy. All right.
Mm-hmm. And then that's a standard action. His move action is to go up the steps. So he could charge at the Ravana.
So that was 6 squares of movement there. He can see the Ravana. But how does he get to the
I spent my standard already. Move.
I don't think he's gonna jump.
Nah, he's not gonna jump.
He could have mounted the tiger.
That's true.
I mean, I guess I may not really have to jump. I already spent my standard.
You don't have a potion of flying or something?
I used to, but I drank it already a while back. That before we leveled. I have my boots that would allow me to teleport, but you know that's fucking KO'd. So, and we can't do our normal go-to move of benign transposition,
Right.
which would be perfect with the
With the tiger.
creatures. But so it looks like I'm just stuck pretty much here for now. I'll have to have it come to us, or at least I could still provide AC to those around before its range attacks. Yeah, so my standard action is use my move action. I'm not going anywhere. And that's that. So since that's the end of my turn, we could do my what you call it, my Crusader ability.
Oh yeah.
Delanum does fallback strategy. How?
Oh, because he has imbued spell like ability from Cynthia.
Okay, that's
He should have one of those left still, because there's 2 first level and then those 2 first level and 1 second.
okay. I see fallback.
Yeah, so he should have 2 fallback strategies and then 1 benediction.
So he has Zina.
If I stopped here, use this little pillar as cover, could I see the Ravana from where I am?
Well,
where I would be?
this is a wall right here. This diagonal.
Yeah. You to see her, you gotta come out to where Valadinum is.
Yeah, right here.
On the other side of that pillar, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna move here. To use this little. Yeah, I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna start that. Move there.
All right, now you've got line of sight in effect.
And then I will. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I will attempt to cast fear on it.
Word. Sign for casting.
Well, I guess not technically cast. I'm going to use menacing shot.
I was about to say, this is a
Characters are like,
tell me about this upgrade, my man.
He became a gunmate.
He's ironing out the stuff.
Just casting spells through his gun.
Stuff.
They got the archetype.
Chanting words of magic as he waves his rifle into the air.
They got that gunslinger archetype.
Motherfuckers are like, what the fuck?
You busting out necromancy spells? Now let me find out, son.
I was like, whoa, casting. Very well.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that. And then the DC save is 26. I'll keep that.
Would medicine shot work on allies? I don't see why it would. I'll have to check that after the session.
Like if he would scare his allies by accident?
Well, because it's the wording. The wording, which is why you figure these motherfuckers would have, especially after 3.5, they would have made sure to fucking make the wording as clear as fuck. Because that was always an issue. It was like you had to take the wording as literal as possible without stretching. But then it would get contradicted by something else in another book. And it's like, oh my fucking god, it just caused confusion. So it's always been the rule was like if something says it affects all living creatures, then it affects all living creatures. If it only affects your enemies, it would say it affects your enemies. If it only affects your blah blah blah, right? So I'm reading Menacing Shot, and it says shoot a firearm into the air and affect all living creatures within a 30-foot radius as if they were subject to fear. So I'm sitting here like, why is it saying all living creatures? Like, what if his allies are in that 30-foot radius?
Yeah, why would I put it in a place where I would want my allies to be afraid too?
I guess you're gonna have to aim it.
Oh, it's how you aim it.
Yeah, I can aim it.
You could shoot it and 30-foot radius.
Like I can aim it somewhere around here, so therefore this creature's not affected by it.
Right.
Yeah. In a way, it works as like it's like it works on all living creatures, but it also works as a drawback because now you have to place it in a way that's beneficial without having it be like detrimental to your team. So that limits where you could put it. So it kind of balances out the actual.
I don't even know. Now, wait, hold up. Shoot a firearm into the air. I think that 30-foot radius burst is centered on him.
It's centered on him.
Yeah, because it's just saying you shoot it into
the air. So it's even more limited.
So you're basically taking your gun and going, you're just shooting it.
You're shooting it up above.
Yeah.
You.
I guess it's like an emergency shit if you're alone, like shit surrounded, like oh crap.
That's what I was just reading. I was just reading on a forum right now. Somebody said the same thing. Someone's like, somebody was like, yeah, it's good to use to cause enemies that are surrounding you to fucking panic and get away from you.
Okay.
But now, was it the intent when they? That's the thing because there's rules as written, raw. And then there's RA and then there's
interpreted.
There's rule RAI rules as interpreted. No, it was rules as intended.
Rules intended.
Yeah, rules as intended. So raw, I know raw is everybody's gonna get affected because that's what it says. But RAI, was it meant to also work? Was it meant to also affect your allies, or was it meant to just work on the enemies? So, I don't know. Like I said, I'll just have to check that out after the session.
Know what I find? I find that people who actually play the game because they enjoy the game usually go with rules as like
Intended.
intended.
Yeah.
And people who want to like take advantage of something or win a particular situation go with rules as written. That's what I noticed.
I have
It's
to say
always
I'm
the
gonna go
people
with
who are like,
I'm gonna go with RAI
yeah,
right
you want
now,
to get over. So in order to get over,
right.
you're like, oh, this is just the way that it's written. That's like that's what I find most of the time.
I'm gonna just go with RAI because I can't see you surrounded
Because
by
like for the most
I
part,
can't
you
see you
know what
surrounded by your
motherfuckers are
right.
trying to achieve with a particular
I,
mechanic.
I can't see
Like you
a
know.
gunslinger. I can't see a gunslinger with like his allies by his side and they're surrounded, and then he's like, "All right," and he shoots
Very
up.
rare.
Right,
Never
he
happened.
shoots up, and then the enemies scatter, and he's like, "Ha!" And then he sees his allies,
And
and
his
they
friends
fucking
run
scattered.
too. Like,
It's like
even
what?
though they've been around him shooting the gun for like the entire
They're like, oh
collective
shit,
time.
not this motherfucker.
They know what he's about to do. They've seen him do it. They still run anyway.
That's
Like,
why I'm like
I
these
mean,
mother.
at least the party's kind of fearless right now because of Cynthia here.
not all of us. That shit got dispelled on some people.
Yeah, I think Palladium can be affected
Palladium
by fear.
Is
and
that
Necromo.
medicine shot? Is that like automatic?
That's just some comical shit.
Is there like
That's some.
They
save?
have to
Or
roll
will
the save.
what is it, like a will save or?
Yeah, it's a will save.
It's a will save, good.
Okay.
That's some comical ass shit though. Like, yeah, watch them flee in terror from us. Hey, where the fuck you going? Why you running? Why you running with them?
We've been hearing this.
I just don't see it. That's why I'm saying like designers they really need to pay attention to how they word their shit because someone wrote that and was like, oh, this will be fun. You know, it's gonna get all these enemies running. So they typed out affects all living creatures. You know, because they didn't want it affecting undead or whatever. Makes sense. Whatever.
Right.
They didn't think. And then now here's the thing: there's supposed to be someone. They're supposed to double check their work, and I think there's supposed to be an editor who knows the fucking rules to also go over this shit and be like, hey, you sure you want to have it like this? Because slip by editing, I guess, and then you know, slip.
I mean, if they wanted to make it not affect, you know, inanimate and undead creatures, just say it's a mind affecting ability, which I'm pretty sure they did anyway. And that pretty much covers that because you know those creatures are immune to mind affecting abilities. And just say it affects enemies. And since it's a mind affecting ability, it automatically excludes vampires, golems, and you know, it basically anything that's, you know, immune to mind affecting abilities. Like there was no need for them to actually use that word all creatures in this particular case. It was a superfluous word. They
should have just put down all foes. They just changed
all
word.
foes, all enemies, that would work
living,
out perfectly.
all living enemies. That's it.
It's unnecessary because it's a mind affecting ability. So in most cases,
or if they really meant to
use
allies,
it on mind affecting abilities only work on things with that are living anyway.
If they're meant to include allies as well, all creatures, including allies. There we go. There's no questions about it right there.
Right.
But then they
It says just that all enemies with their 30-foot radius would be affected by this mind affecting ability. Done.
Right. Yeah, I would say fear is a mind affecting ability anyway, so it didn't even need to.
Right. It was they didn't have to mention all living creatures. It's automatically mind affecting, so it doesn't affect creatures that aren't living anyway. So they could have saved some ink. That shit's mad funny. But yeah, I don't want to go running screaming just because he's trying to protect himself.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
anyway.
That's crazy.
So it's
either way, it doesn't work
me,
the way
right?
we originally
Is
thought
that
it would.
did we
5,
it's still centered around me?
15,
yeah, it's centered around you, bro.
Okay,
25, 30. It's within it's in the 30-foot radius.
Yeah, but like everyone else is too.
Yeah, but Lou's not gonna have it.
No, I'm not even gonna have it affect the allies. It just.
You can do it then?
I don't see why it would. I don't know. Even if the designer intended that, I would need to read a really good fucking essay on a breakdown of why they think it should work on Al.
Well, we'll use this. We'll use this campaign as an example. We've been adventuring. Sino been with us since we were like level 7, I think, right? Since level 20, and we're level 20 now. Has there ever been a time where Sino was actually like alone surrounded? Super rare, if never. I don't think it has happened. He's always back there with like Claudius.
I got an idea.
So it's like an ability that he'll be able to use maybe never.
Right.
I didn't see. Now that you mentioned an ability that I've never
And then on
used.
that one time that
But to be honest with you,
he's happy. Let's say he happens to be with Cynthia and Claudius. Now he's gonna fuck Claudius and Cynthia over also.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yes, I was about to say, to be honest with you, if that mechanic worked as raw, then no gunslinger would use it anyway.
Right.
So, because in most cases, the gunslinger would be behind his ally.
Wait, since it's all let's get literal. Let's go literal. If it's like raw, right? Wouldn't it also affect the gunslinger himself?
Yeah,
He like shoots it, drops the gun, and runs.
The gunslinger will be afraid and drop his own gun, man.
Right, he's good. He's a living creature. He's within the radius.
Think about it. It would affect all living creature. There's no exception there to the freaking gunslinger. That means if you're afraid too. You're dropping that gun. We have to get like literal, right?
I think the only situation this would work if you were using like a blunderbuss or pistols. That's the only way I can see that being like usable, because you got to be close for that anyways.
Yo, that's true. If it's centered on you, you're affected by it. It's your
you're
living creatures,
right?
And it's not a spell, so it's not like you're excluded from it. You'd be fucked. You do it and run from yourself.
They be like, "Hey, yo, what is he running from?"
So yeah, I guess that's why Louis is gonna change it. He's not gonna have it affect like targets that clearly shouldn't be affected, which is just the enemies if they're affected by mine.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sitting here like, why the fuck? Why?
It was poorly worded. We
poorly
get it.
Worded. All right. Anyway, so is he still doing that, or is he doing something else?
I'm gonna do something else actually.
Okay.
I will do my standard attack and pray that it's a crit. I'm gonna start there.
I know you got some points back from the last fight because you got a few crits in that one.
He's got blessed weapon on. So he can bypass good. Because what's your name? The drama can do blessed weapon at will. Was it at will or was it 3 times a day?
Need drama, son. If she could do that shit at will, yo, we should be cutting these motherfuckers like Swiss cheese.
All right, you got the blessings of the angels. Here's aid. Here's blessed weapon. Here's
aid and blessed weapon is pretty much all we need from her.
Okay. So blessed weapon was
all I need.
Blessed weapon was 3 times a day. So what she did was she blessed. She should
bless hers. Bless fucking.
She doesn't need to bless hers.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because she's an outsider. She's an outsider with the good subtype, and any weapon she wields can automatically bypass. She's naturally she's the essence of a fucking good being.
So she could get fucking Xyno.
But she did, she did those 3. Those 3 have blessed weapon. And they're on for quite, I think it's 14 minutes. So.
Good stuff.
14 minutes.
Good stuff. Thanks, D-Drama. That shit goes a long way. Especially when motherfuckers walk around with damage reduction 20.
I know, that's crazy.
That shit still make you want to fucking vomit. Who is walking around with damage reduction 20? Jesus, that's so disrespectful, man.
No, man. Even Meswar, that's a
god. When you got a creature when you got a being that hunts and executes and traps the souls of Celeste, Not even, well, Celestials don't even have souls. They just trap the Celestial
right
itself.
My man's had damage reduction 20 and had the nerve to have fast healing on top of it, bro. Stop. Plus golem immunities.
Oh yeah, those
Bro.
super golems,
did
man.
And then still had
Oh,
the
the
nerve
demon
to be
flesh. I'm like, what the
sentient
fuck is he talking about?
and not be like,
Almost
mindless.
felt like
No, this
had
thing can
implosion.
think.
Got implosion as well.
Wow. This
But
dude could do destruction as a
destruction.
fucking spell-like ability once per day.
Horrid wilting.
Hard wilting
AOE. Like,
at will. Come on now.
I think it's 2 times. Each of those 2 powerful spells like 2 times. I think each.
Absolutely ridiculous.
2 times a day.
Plus,
ridiculous.
So plus additional 4.
I'm sure that.
Alright, so Cyno's attack should be plus. Are you doing deadly aim or no?
No.
Plus 34 to your attack.
It didn't work out. I took a gamble.
And you do have cold iron bullets. Okay, cold iron. Yes, you do. So you go through the damage reduction. Let's see if this got any. Okay, it also does fire damage.
Oh, that's
finally something that fucking not immune or
no,
resistant
bro,
to fire.
I swear to God, that shit burns me up. Half of the shit we fought is negated. It negates fire damage.
Pun intended.
So 1d10 plus 12 because of point blank. 13. 1d10 plus 13. Yeah. 1d10 plus 13 plus 1d6 fire. Bullet pierced through chain armor and the skin, like see like one of those slits of blood across his shoulder, and it looks at it. All right.
Cynthia move action. She takes her holy symbol out from beneath her chain shirt, which should. I'm not sure how you want to do the lighting. I know there's a wall right here, but it should shine that light to the Baylor and the Ravana, I believe.
Oh, you're talking about
my celestial brilliance.
Yeah, celestial the purified celestial brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
Evil outsiders take 2d8 damage, or more than that. Purified. The damage increased by 1 die type. Each 1d6, each 1d8 becomes 2d6. So it was 4d6 damage.
Alright.
We got 4d6 points of damage to evil outsiders. That's in the bright light.
4d6. Roll that. So that was her move action. As a standard, she's going to use Grand Lumen to do litter dust over here over the Ravana. And she will roll a save.
Litter dust. Rolls. Oh, this is.
Okay. Since I am rolling spell resistance, I know I have
Your spells penetration, so it should be plus 19.
spell penetration indeed. I could have sworn I had something else that helps me get through spell penetration. I mean, get through,
Oh, never mind.
what?
The glitter dust doesn't have.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't have a saving throw.
It has a saving throw. That doesn't
For the
allow.
blindness.
It doesn't allow spell
No
resistance.
spell resistance. That's right. That's one of the words. That's one of the reasons why we use it. Okay, that's right.
So I just gotta roll the saving.
Oh yeah, I gotta roll my save and throw DC for it. Back on my mouse. Damn it.
Mouse is done.
Okay. So Cynthia. I'm gonna use her Servant of the Heavens feat. Where once per day she adds a +1 luck bonus on any roll. So I'm gonna add that to the roll I'm gonna do right now for the spell DC.
Okay. Make your roll.
Okay. +10. So it should be a +10 bonus total. Could have sworn I had more than that, but +10. Damn.
Oh shit, bro. That was okay.
Roll a 20 anyways.
Wow.
At least she can't go invisible.
Mm.
So that was my move and my standard. Saving my swift. I am done.
Yep.
What icon do you want to use for her being glitter dusted?
Oh, so it can't really. It's not blind, but it can't hide.
Right.
or it could hide. But with -4, -40, I don't really know. I guess I'll use a bullseye. All right, so Ravana's turn. Let's see what it's allowed to do with its insanity. 23. So the Ravana just starts. It's like after it gets shot, and then like the glitter dust just showers over it and covers its body in sparkling golden dust. Still retaining its eyesight. It's just like looking at its body. And then like it cocks its head towards your group, and it's looking at the tigers. It's looking around. It's looking at its body again, and it's just like it starts to like babble incoherently. And it's like looking at its hands and the chains, kind of like swishing them back and forth, and you can't make out what it's saying. It's like it's trying to speak a language, maybe even the dark speech, but it's not even saying that properly. At least if it was, something would be happening, but it's just like you can't make heads or tails of what the heck it's doing, and it does nothing.
Wow.
And the Baylor's trapped. Not that it. And Baylor, is like looking at his force cage. And it punches it to no avail. It doesn't. I could have swore maybe was it 3.0? I could have swore Confusion had one effect where like you actually hit your. Was that second edition?
You hit yourself.
I think that may be second edition.
I think that was second edition.
Yeah.
You sure you're not thinking about Final Fantasy?
Well, I know the RPG. Well, they
yeah. 7, like,
yeah. When you were confused, there was a chance that like it hit your ally or even hit themselves. I'd be getting mad when that happens. Motherfuckers like 5,000 damage to myself. Like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I know, it's so stupid.
Fucking went to commit a seppuku on himself. Like, okay. I think the second edition Confusion spell did that. I think there was an effect where you did attack yourself. They took that out of third edition. Because I don't see it. It might have been in 3.0. And I don't know. I guess players would. I don't know. I guess players were whining. Either enough players were whining, or the designers was like, "Oh, this is a little bit too unfair." It's like, oh my god, why are you worried about shit being fair for the fucking player? Like, let shit be deadly. If it's deadly, let it be deadly. That's why I look at these. That's why 5e be cracking me up, because I'm like, yo, nobody ever fucking dies. You get knocked out easily in 5e, but dying? Okay. An enemy would have to go out its way in 5th edition to fucking really to kill you. It would have to use up a whole turn beating on your unconscious ass just to. I mean, it would have to coup de grace you. That's why I think the latest editions of the game, obviously 4e, but 5e, same thing. Even Pathfinder is guilty of that. They have very, very, I can't even recall. I know there was a few, but I can't even remember where they were at, where something caused instant death. Like a lot of their death magics or things that would normally like a gaze attack, from a creature that we knew originally would kill you with the gaze attack because it's a death gaze. They don't have it do that anymore. They just have it do a bunch of damage. They'll have you go finger of death, and it's not going to kill you. It does, but it'll do like 15d6 damage. Yeah, that's how they do it now. They don't do the insta kills.
Yeah, arrows of slaying. Do the arrows of slaying still work the same way?
I don't even know if 5e has. They don't have a lot of magic items in 5e either, and if they do, I don't even remember seeing an arrow of slaying. If there is, I think there is, and I think I think all it does is like extra damage.
Damn.
I'm like, man, we're making soft ass D&D players right now.
I can only imagine what they're going to do in 6th edition. They're already talking about it.
It's not really 6th edition. It's more like 5.5 because they want everything in 5th edition to still be compatible with it. So, they keep informing the player base. Don't worry, you'll still be able to use the books that you have now. You'll still be able to use them. Still be able to use them. They keep pointing that out. We just want to have a more organic updates to the game where you give us feedback and we'll change shit around to match what you're desiring in the game or whatever. I'm like, well, that doesn't seem fair because not everybody goes on the fucking internet to cry to Wizards of the Coast. I wish you did things like this and blah 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 blah. Like, whatever. I don't know.
It sounds like they're turning D&D into a live service game.
They are. They are.
That's what I got out
They
of
are.
it.
There's a lot of local gaming shops that are not really happy about this because it's gonna kill their business even more. But I think the one thing that they're like trying not to do, which they should have fucking done a long time ago, was to not make 1 million editions of the game. They want to stick. That's why they call it one D&D because they want to stick with what it's at now, but just keep but update it like it's fucking software.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, should have fucking done that way back in 3rd edition because Paizo did it. So. But it's like whatever. My thing, and I will say it to the day that I die. Leave it where it's at. Do or do your update thing with 5e, whatever. But leave it where it's at, and go make a team. Make a few teams in your make a couple extra departments, and tell them, give them this one job. Hey, you focus on 1st and 2nd edition. You focus on 3rd edition. You focus on 4th edition. I want you guys to go out there and work with those communities of gamers. Publish books for them, update stuff for them, et cetera, et cetera. Cater to that base. Your department caters to this base. But we'll focus most of our stuff on 5th edition. But at least players from the past 50 years will continue to support us because we're going to be continuing to support them instead of alienating them from every time a new edition comes out, we're just alienating another base. I mean, the game's split into 5 different demographics right now. It's like, come on, like, oh, you're like, and then I've noticed there's a trend with 5th edition people right now who are not really satisfied, and they're going back to older editions. They're like, you know what, 2nd edition really has a lot of shit that I wish 5th edition has, and they're like, they're like exploring that older material, and they're like, man, I wish this was in 5th edition. I wish this was in 5th edition, and it's not. It's like, yeah, like, it's like, how many times are you gonna make an edition? You know what? Another 20 years, it'll be like D&D edition number 8. Now you just split the fan base into 8 editions because everyone's gonna play D&D with the edition that they prefer. Not everybody's gonna like, you know, the new edition that just came out because they were perfectly content with what you made before. They just wanted you to like maybe update it or fix some shit around, but they were content with it. But now you want everybody to rebuy everything, and you're gonna re-release fucking, you know, Forgotten Realms the 20th time. Or let's make another Waterdeep book. Let's make another sort. Like, come on, like, there's just a point where you have to just stop and just.
I remember when 3.5 was like the main edition, and like when new books would come out, we were like all excited, like, oh shit,
right.
But you know, one of the last books, you know, like Book of Nine Swords, I'm like, man, this freaking was awesome. It was like the golden age, I think, in my opinion.
Right. And you know what it was? 3rd edition was
after that 4th edition and onward.
3rd edition was doing great. I mean, even financially, they were doing great. But apparently, I don't know if this was an executive decision from just Wizards of the Coast, or if maybe Hasbro. I believe Hasbro had to have gotten involved too. I think it was a matter of, hey, we want more money from this game, and we're not getting the amount that we want. Like, we're you know, like, we're fucking Magic the Gathering's carrying us right now. Like, I mean, that's what that and Pokemon, like, that's what it came down to. And they were like, listen, we need to turn D&D into a brand, into a bigger brand, a more popular brand. We need to make money. We want money. And so then they axed 3rd edition. They axed it, and they were like, we're doing 4th edition. And then when 4th edition came out, when they were showcasing the rules and all the changes to the game, a lot of people were not happy, and even some of the designers. I remember when Ed Greenwood himself was like, please don't do this to the Forgotten Realms. I'm begging you. Like, he outright came out and said that they went to the headquarters, and it was him and one other designer, I can't remember who it was, said, please don't do this. Like, consider something else. Consider this, or whatever. And they pretty much told him, we thank you for your, we thank you for your input, and we respect you and your opinion on the matter, but, we're pretty much going to do what we want to do. So, and it flopped. 4th edition, after, 4 years, it was done. It was done. Like, they were like, we fucked up.
I mean, the novels that they came out with during that time was fucking lit, though.
Like, the whole Spell Plague novel.
Yeah,
they were Plague.
They were good, man.
I mean,
like reading the Dritz novels and shit too through that time. It's really good. Elminster's line. I mean, I'm pretty sure Ed Greenwood was salty as fuck, but he wrote the fuck out of that goddamn Elminster series during that time.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, kind of, he was just like whatever. But they did include when 5th edition came, and they were like, all right, we kind of need to reset the realms back to the way it was, but they did it in a way where they still wanted to maintain the fact that what happened in 4th edition realms still happened. But we're gonna bring back a lot of the shit that we got rid of. So a lot of the deities came back. The cosmology came back mostly intact. It literally was like a super soft reset button. And I'm like, oh my god, why can't you just omit it entirely? Like, but I guess they didn't want to. I guess they didn't want to devalue anything from 4th edition, so instead they just kind of half omitted it instead. But
all right, it's like, I'll put it to you this way. Here's an example of Dritz during that time period. He was on a team where it was Dritz, Artemis Huntrari, Jarlaxle, that dwarf that the one that fights with the 2 morning stars that explode.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh, it starts with an A.
Yeah, Arthas or some shit.
I thought it was Arthas or something, yeah.
Alright, so him, a Tiefling warlock named Ephrin, and a female elf swashbuckler. I forgot her name, but that was like Dritz's like love interest. It was that squad just running through and beating the shit out of people in Neverwinter. Like, how could you not? How could you not, bro?
What?
Yeah, yeah. That's during a time period where fucking
I
where
think
Dritz,
it's the fact that you just said Dritz and Artemis was on the same fucking team. That's
yeah,
like
Dritz,
that's
yo,
like seeing Goku and Frieza on the same team.
yeah, yeah, and yo, the fight scenes between Dritz, Artemis, and because Dritz, Artemis, and Jarlax would go to the Underdark. Dude, the fight scenes that Salvatore describes between watching them fight, and of course you know they gotta fight each other too. Oh my god, bro. Jarlaxle is funny, but he's extra funny when he's always gotta step in
Joel
between.
Axel's always been godlike. I've always enjoyed reading Joel Axel. There was never a moment I did not enjoy reading about that guy.
Yo, you gotta. So I mean, like,
Shit,
yeah,
I'm sold on the fact that Artemis and Dritz teamed up. Like, honestly, I'm bored as fuck of Dritz himself, but like him in a team up with Artemis, yeah, I'll read the fuck out of it.
And Jarlaxle and that dwarf.
And then Joel Axel
funny
happened to
as
be there
fuck.
too. I like the dwarf too. He's
Yeah. And the elf chick, Ephron, I think you would have liked Ephron, the warlock. I think you would have liked him. Because he was like one of those characters that's like trying to be good, but he's damaged.
okay.
That's basically what it was.
Because he's a warlock. And he's a
And he's
tiefling.
a tiefling.
Hey, that's right, he's both. But the arrow of slaying in 5e, so what it does is if you hit the creature that it's supposed to like slay, like say a dragon or whatever, the creature has to make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw. And if it fails, it takes an extra 6d10 damage. But if it passes, it takes half damage. That's all it does. It just does extra damage. It should be called an arrow of faster. It should be called an arrow of faster slaying.
An arrow of hurting.
An arrow. An arrow of hurting.
An arrow of major pain.
For real, I'm still like, man, making D&D soft. Back in 2E, man, you put your hand through a dark hole, you were disintegrated. Done. It was over. Make a new character. Let's go.
If this man don't stop with his back in my day, like,
yo, man, the shit that happened in 2E, bro. Oh my god. I wish I could have ran Tomb of Annihilation for the first time with like back in 2E. I wish we had more adventure modules because we did a lot of like homebrew shit. We didn't really start getting adventure modules until later on. I mean, we did do a few of the Ravenloft ones, but man, that would have been funny to be like, so you see this doorway, it's a dark hole. All right, well, I'm gonna walk through. All right, you're disintegrated. Done. Like what? It was actually an orb of annihilation in there, so you just disintegrated your head. But yeah. Anyway, but I know Wizards will never do that. They won't. It's too much logistics involved for them to like make a different make separate departments to like support all the editions. Now they have the DMs Guild. The DMs Guild is you can write whatever Dungeons and Dragons material you want. You can even use You can even use their IP. You can use the Beholders, or Lithids, whatever the fuck. You can use Forgotten Realms. Use whatever the fuck you want. You write it. You publish it on the DMs Guild. They take a cut of your sales. So you know if you sell 100, they take I think 25% or some shit like that. But whatever it is that you publish, it has to be either edition neutral, which means it has no game mechanics, it's just like straight fluff or whatever, or if you're doing game mechanics, it has to be 5th edition. I'm sitting here like, you want the community to be united, but you're gonna gatekeep 5th edition. You're gonna
I need to make money. What the fuck you mean? I need to move these goddamn units. You got to use my
What
shit.
what they should do is open up the DMs Guild so that if I was to publish a book, I don't have to publish it for 5th edition mechanics. I want to write a book for 3rd edition mechanics.
No. I need it to be the newest edition I'm doing.
But they're getting profit from it anyway, though, because it's on the DMs Guild. So what are they?
It's not hitting new pockets. It's hitting old pockets.
No,
what about the future pockets?
No, it's to see the new pockets. Okay, come from their main line, their 5th edition line. They could get more profit by getting back the bases that they lost.
That's not how video games work.
We talk about people are still playing Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah, but you can make more money off just making a new game and it's brand new and they'll get to hook brand new players too.
Yeah, they're making a ton off of FF14, but they still got the FF11 servers open and people are still playing it and people are still paying.
They recently got an update.
Look at that! Look at that! They're getting money from 11 and 14.
You know corporate's not going to think.
No, I know they don't. They don't. That's what pisses me off.
They're not going to be all inclusive. They're going to chase the quick turnover dollar, especially when they're trying to emulate video games.
And you know what the problem is that even if they did do something like that now, I don't think we're suddenly going to see. I could be wrong. I don't think we'll suddenly see like a surge of the DMs Guild. Suddenly, people are like, "Oh, I'm publishing a 2nd edition. Oh, I got a few 3rd edition." We're not going to see a surge of that because they waited so long to do this. So like now people are in the position of like they either jumped on 5th edition already or they long lost hope on like ever seeing new material for like. Because I wish there was a complete Incarnum book. I wish there was a Phoenix Codex 3 Yugolovs for 3rd edition. I wish there was a Tome of Battle 2. Okay? I wish there that's why I mixed up Pathfinder shit. Because I was like, yo, Pathfinder is like what 4th edition should have fucking been. Like, I could still use the 3rd edition books. They updated some shit. They added some new shit. It's compatible still. Fuck, like, why not hybrid the fucking game? I'll just take the best of whatever works. Like, our gaming shit doubled in size thanks to fucking Pathfinder. But, and then Pathfinder fell off. They're like, wow, 5th edition's doing so good. We need to rival that. Let's make 2nd edition Pathfinder. What? Like, oh my god, why? You were doing fine. Just because you were number 1 for like a few years. Okay, great. The only reason you're not number 1 anymore is because Wizards of the Coast mastered hype marketing fucking 5th edition is really what they did. And it's a new edition. Of course it's gonna be number 1 for a little while. But Paizo wasn't happy with that. They were like, no, we gotta rival these motherfuckers. This is Dungeons and Dragons. We need to be, the fucking Vegeta to this Goku. Let's go! Like, oh my god, stop. You should have not. No. They axed 1st edition. I was on those forums every day. I was watching. Like I was the watcher. I was fucking the Uatu. I was the
true
role-playing game fan. I was the Uatu of Pathfinder, and I'm like, nobody asked for this edition. There was nobody saying, I'm kind of burnt out. I wish we had a whole new fucking edition with a bunch of shit changed around. Nobody. There was none of that. Paizo came was like, yo, we're doing a 2nd edition, and here's how we're doing it. And I'm reading the rules. I'm like, this isn't Pathfinder. This is, you know what? A lot of these rules look very eerily similar to 4th edition and 5th edition.
The older you get, it's true, man. I can sympathize with you geezers. We're all gonna get there, hopefully. But the older you get, the more resistant to change you are. You just don't want to like learn shit. Man.
That's what I'm saying,
I'm at that point where I'm like, information I just don't want to learn.
There are very, very few things I'm going
here and there, tidbit, but not like before.
That's what I'm saying. I'm liberal.
I'm always like learning and this, all this stuff. Not anymore, man.
For real, man.
I'm reaching capacity already. Like,
I'm progressive with a lot of things, but Dungeons and Dragons, I'll be the absolute most conservative with. I can't explain why, but
Well, the good thing is, look at it this way. Look how long it takes just to freaking get through a campaign. It takes years.
Right.
And we never.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. We got plenty of material. Yeah.
We play like less than 0.005% of all the freaking campaigns out there for 3.5 and Pathfinder. So we're good.
I also say no. Yeah, we're good.
We have like 2
It's just I see because I'll see like these brand. I mean, because there's a lot of brand new players to Dungeons and Dragons because of 5th edition, and like I'll be seeing like mechanics that they'll make or things that they wish were in the game or whatever. And I'm sitting here thinking like, yo, that they had that in 3rd edition. Oh wait, they did that in 2nd edition. Or like you're looking for more of that. Like there's a bunch of 2nd edition books that cover like the Spelljammer book that just came out. So much disappointment. So I knew it was going to be disappointing, but I wanted to see how many more people. So I'm all over social media looking at everybody's reaction to Spelljammer. And a lot of people are like, even the people that didn't know much about Spelljammer, they were like, "There's some stuff in here that's pretty lacking." But the people that knew about Spelljammer, for the number one thing everyone's bitching about, legitimately, is the Spelljamming ship combat. There's like almost no rules for it.
It was so dry.
Oh, you saw it?
Yes. Yes, I was so hyped for
People
that.
were saying, "Yo, I'm using Ghost of Saltmarsh rules for fucking naval combat." They're using that to make up for the lack of spelljamming combat.
I didn't understand. Like they were trying to do something so innovative. Well, this is supposed to incorporate, a 3D idea. No, it was trash. It was fucking trash.
I guess they just expect you to, 2 ships get together and then you melee.
Yes, and what bugged me
jump
is
into another ship,
bro.
You had all these stations that you had to control.
It was literally like 1 page of rules for the fucking
1 page. And they're like, all right, so here's the rules. Go at it. Half the rules didn't even make sense. You didn't get, you had characters doing roles for shit that you knew they weren't supposed to do. And if they died, that was it.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of people are trying to update. And I've seen a few books on the DM's Guild already. A lot of people are trying to create their own 5e spelljam, more complex, extensive spelljamming ship combat rules. But it's on the DM's Guild, and it's not official, unless you're the type of group that doesn't give a shit about that. But some groups are. Some groups are like, I'm only gonna buy official shit. But
combat was so boring.
Oh my god, that's why a lot of them are like, man, we're just gonna use 2nd edition combat and just update it to 5th edition. I'm like, well, Wizards of the Coast should have been the ones doing that for you, but instead they got you guys doing all the work. It's like, it's so minimalist, the fucking game. It's like, oh my god. Like, if you want to convey to DMs that they have control over their game, you were already, there's ways of doing that without oversimplifying the game. You still, you can give them all the guidelines that you want, but DMs still need tools, and you're not giving them tools. You're just pointing your fucking finger. No, get the toolbox, get a few toolboxes, give it to the DMs, then point your finger, then walk away. But that's not what 5th edition does, unfortunately. It's like they point their finger, go over there, go around the corner, you'll see shit, and do whatever you want. And it's like, what? Yeah, I knew it. Man, so many people were disappointed in Spelljammer, and I was like, that's just mechanical wise. Lore wise, they got rid of the phlogiston, they got rid of crystal spheres, which is stupid.
They got rid of crystal spheres.
Yeah, they got rid of crystal spheres. I know. So there's no real separation between the different material, the different universes.
That's what realm space. The concept of crystal sphere.
Right. Well, every material world, every universe had a crystal sphere. Some were small, and some were really, really big. Like Earth, our planet Earth is legitimately in Dungeons and Dragons. It is an official planet in the game in its own crystal sphere, and it is a massive crystal sphere as we know in real life. And some crystal spheres are smaller. Some that was what was cool about Spelljamming. Like, it had every world had its own universe encased in a crystal sphere, and was able to like function with its own set of rules while also being part of a bigger whole. And the phlogiston was the space between the crystal spheres, and the only way to access them is through a Spelljamming ship. Very simple. Apparently, some people were confused about the phlogiston and crystal spheres. I'm like, what's so fucking confusing about it? I don't get it. But apparently, it was confusing to some people. I'm like, whatever, okay. But they took it away completely. The way it is now is you take a Spelljamming ship from your planet, you go into space. Space is known as wild space. At least they kept that term. Go into wild space, and you explore your solar system, whatever, and each each universe for each world has different sizes, just like it was before. But when you get to the edge of your universe, you don't hit like a mystical solid barrier, which would be the shell of the crystal sphere. It slowly you slowly like enter for like a brief amount of time. There's like a transitional phase from when you leave your universe and you enter into the astral plane. Yeah, they got rid of the phlogiston. You travel between different universes through the astral plane.
Okay.
Which
That's not too bad of an idea. But
I don't know though.
It's an easy way out because they use the astral plane for fucking everything, and it's unfair.
Yeah, that's the problem. And the other problem is, I don't want too much planar shit mixing with something that's supposed to be more of a material world kind of thing. Because it's like
the point? That's a spell and plane ship anywhere you want to go. What's the point of having ships?
Yeah.
That was the only thing I liked about Starfinder. It was definitely material world centric, but just like the other one, the mechanics were atrocious. they got rid of ACs, and
I heard the mechanics for Starfinder weren't no pun intended, they weren't stellar. But
they were like you could have they crashed and burned. Like you went into the atmosphere like, all right, let's put our ship up. Building a ship was so complicated for no reason. And the only part of the ship that was important was the life support. So if you killed the life support, that was it.
Right. And you know what? There are some things in second edition Spelljammer that definitely needs updating. Of course. I mean, there's a lot of things in second edition that need to be updated. Because apparently I started reading Spelljammer recently, but apparently to pilot these vessels, you need a caster to like connect to it, and they use their magic. I didn't know that they had to use all their spell slots to power the fucking thing.
That I did not know either.
I was like, what?
When I was reading the novels, I remember that it had to be a spellcaster, like a wizard.
I'm sitting here like, yo, that's overkill. Like, I would not have made the rules like that. I'd have had it where.
Was that second edition?
That was second edition. That was, oh yeah.
I didn't know it was that. Wow.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they didn't come out with a third edition Spelljammer. I wish they did, but they kind of did a little bit, very little bit. There was a dungeon magazine that had an extra bonus content in it, and it was kind of without calling it Spelljammer, but it was kind of Spelljammer, and they did have some, and like that's the closest anyone could ever get to like a little bit of like Spelljammer rules in third edition, but they never did it. I wish they did. It would have been great, but the way I would have ruled it was you put a spell slot to power your Spelljammer, and the higher the spell slot, like the faster the ship will go, or whatever, and you only had to use one spell slot, not all of them. Like, and then I would extend that even further. I would be like, I would have it where like you could put magic into the Spelljammer that could like affect your crew, like or even the ship itself, like putting in a 5th level slot to like do some repairs on the ship, magic repairs on the ship, some crazy shit like that. Like you have all sorts of fun, with playing with the rules like that. But yeah, I think Commonly, it's powered by magic, but there are other types of helms. There's life jammers, and there's the life jammers was you hook yourself up to it, but it feeds off of your life force to power the ship.
Oh, barbarians!
Right. And then there's like the special unique ones depending on like the creatures involved. The beholders, they have a special type of beholder called they call them an orbis. Yeah, I know, orbis from fucking Shackled. Um, they're like these little beholders. They're called orbises, and they attach those to like a beholder spelljamming ship, and the orbises is what powers their spelljammers. The Tinker Gnomes, they power their spells. I forgot what it was some kind of engine. They power it obviously through their Tinker Gnome tech, which we all know isn't exactly reliable, but it's something. Uh, but yeah, they have their own way of like powering their ships if they can't use magic. They have a mechanical way of doing it. But yeah, none of that's in the fucking book. I think, from what I know, like I don't think there's anything about life jammers. The Spelljammer itself is not even in the fucking book. And
Wow.
I know you know about that. I know you read the novels.
Of course, the mainstay.
Like the fucking Spelljammer.
That illicit shaped type spelljamming.
Like apparently the ship's so.
Like
I think isn't the ship so big it has a city on it or some shit like that?
Like a city. It's like the top city, like the top spelljamming ship, like the what do you call it? Like the flagship. That's what everybody wants in the universe.
For real. And it's like it's got like a mysterious origin. Like that's dope. That's godlike. That's not even in the fucking book.
In order to even use it, you need this freaking magical cloak that the main character had, Tobin Moore. I even remember the main character's name, Tobin Moore, originally from Kryn. It was like this cloak, and it's an artifact. And what's so cool about this cloak is this guy was just like a regular farmer in Kryn. He was not special, just a farmer, not even a freaking level 1 commoner. But this cloak gave him the ability to shoot magic missiles, go invisible. That cloak was freaking OG. We gotta look it up, Louis. That cloak gave this dude like a whole bunch of abilities.
I gotta see if anybody had statted that up, right?
The main power of that cloak was that cloak actually gave the person the ability to be able to sit in the helm of the Spelljammer ship and to be able to control it.
That's crazy.
But anyway. How do you have Spelljammer and not even like have little illicit type freaking? Yeah. Oh yeah, the Illithids are very powerful.
Oh yeah, the Illithids power. I forgot, man. How do they power their spelljamming ships? I think they're the ones that use life jammers, but I think they can power it with. They obviously power it with magic, and I think
the elves are. There's this like this freaking galactic force. This galactic.
I like what they did with the elves, and I like what they did with the elves and Spelljammer. The elves are like very imperialistic.
Oh yeah, they're very imperialistic. They're like the most powerful group of people in freaking space.
Honestly, that's one of the few things I like with 5th edition Spelljammer is the astral elves. Although I wouldn't have called them astral elves because that would imply an astral plane. But the astral elves is a new like elven race for D&D, but they're space elves basically. Right. That's what they're supposed to be. Which honestly, when I was reading Spelljammer, I kind of felt like the elves in Spelljammer weren't really like high elves or dark elves or anything like that. Like they were their own. I would definitely have made them their own subrace. And so the idea of the astral elf makes perfect sense. Like that's an easy transition for a Spelljammer setting. But that's one of the few things that I agree with 5th edition Spelljammer. Other than that, everything else was trash. I was like, oh,
yeah, there's a lot of like planets out there like that are like ruled by elves. And this galactic empire basically supported them, like to make sure that the elves on those particular native planet will stay in power.
Right.
They'll share technology and so forth. Well, elven magic technology, just to make sure like the elven influence throughout the galaxy. Like these elves. I'm not gonna say they were evil, but it's like man, these people were like definitely like very imperialistic.
They weren't good. They were not good. Maybe there were members in it that were good, but they were not good.
They weren't like good, but they were like fascist.
They were fascist, yeah.
They were like a Nazi regime.
They were because they began the first Unhuman War, where they went around They went around to all these different crystal spheres,
No, they're like Elven
slaughtering,
Nazis. They're like Elven Nazis.
yeah, Elven
The
Nazis.
Nazis,
They were
they're-
slaughtering orcs, goblins,
everything.
lizard folk, everything that wasn't. And then and that was the other thing that pissed me off about 5th edition Spelljammer. They didn't put the Skrull in there. There's no Skrull. I don't even know if they mentioned the Skrull.
The Skrull is
The Skrull.
elf.
The Skrull. I like the Skrull. I like their origin. I like because I read their whole origin. I read their whole and I think they started the second Unhuman War, but against the elves. So the elves were like, "Oh shit, we gotta fuck with you." But I read the whole thing. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay." Tongue in cheek, that Skrull is just orcs backwards, but
yeah, backwards. They have their own lore.
But they're space orcs, and they have their own world. They had their leader ascended to demigodhood. Like their fucking origin was dope. I like their origin. I like their culture, their society. Fucking dope as hell. And they didn't even bother putting them in like the new Spelljammer book. I was like, oh, you fucking kidding me? Anyway, yeah, I've been reading Spelljammer lately because like the lore and that shit is fucking godlike. I'm like, what? I'm so mad I didn't read this back when we were playing 2E. Like, I didn't know what it was. Like, I heard of Spelljammer, but like, I don't think I saw much books on the shelves at the hobby shop for it. And we were so into Planescape and Ravenloft that I didn't really think about looking at the other settings. But if somebody had shown that to me and been like, "Hey, this is what Spelljammer is," I'd have been all over it.
Stop! You are capping so hard.
How?
Because when I was playing, when we started Hierarchy was basically the beginning when we started playing fucking 3.5. Because they were like the first characters.
No, I know, but Spelljammer was.
We made them before we made Crescent Moon. So we were talking about Spelljamming with that group.
Yeah.
So you were introduced to the idea. You just didn't care.
I didn't bother because I was like, because at the time it was like, wow, that's 2nd edition. We're playing 3rd edition. So when they come out with 3rd edition Spelljammer rules, right, which they never did. So, and then it went on for so long, and I was just like, and I just never like. It wasn't really much incentive for me to like just delve into the Spelljammer stuff and then try to update it all. And like lately,
there was incentive because you had an entire group that wanted to. But
I was like,
all you had to do was read the material, and if you did, you would have liked it, got inspired, and then you would have fucking just did it. But you just saw it as work already and work extra
at the time, yes. Currently. I've got the fucking drive. Currently, I got the drive for it.
You know how frustrating that is because, like, me.
But what I'm saying was like, I would have been more inclined to do that with Pentis and all them had I started Spelljammer at the same time we did Ravenloft and Planescape.
Ah, okay.
So you're going further back.
Yeah.
Further back.
The 2
It was different when we were playing 3rd edition because I was like, because I wasn't really using a lot of the 2E stuff for our 3rd edition games. I was using the lore, and I think I never really bothered with Spelljammer because I was like, I know there's a lot of rules in here based on the setting, like ship combat, all that other stuff, and I was like, I don't really want to have to update all of that, and I was like, maybe they'll be a 3rd edition update to Spelljammer because they kind of did a mini one with Dark Sun, and then they came out with I hoped for an update with Planescape. They never did that either. So the only thing they did was Forgotten Realms, and then Dark Sun didn't even get a full update. It got a partial little minuscule update with Dungeon and Dragon magazine, and then and that was it. They licensed everything else out. They licensed out Dragonlance got an update through another company, and then Ravenloft, which I have all the books for those. I'm gonna count the license as official because it is. But even though the one thing I didn't like about the 3rd edition Ravenloft was like I don't know why they did this. They worked very hard. Because as I was reading it, I'm like, there's something fucking missing from this. As I'm reading it, I noticed they worked very hard to write it in a way where they did not want to mention about the other settings. They didn't want to have any mention of Forgotten Realms, of Dragonlance, nothing. You go to the area where that's ruled by a red wizard. From fucking Forgotten Realms. There's one of them's there's a red wizard Dark Lord. You go to read his entry, and it says, yeah, he's a wizard from another world. He's got tattoos on his head. They don't highlight anything else about the Forgotten Realms related. You go to Sithicus, and that werebadger dwarf is the ruler since Lord Soth left, but they don't even mention. They will not mention Lord Soth by name. They don't even mention the Kender that live in that nation. They don't even mention them. I think they imply, oh, there's a dark race of halflings or some shit like that, right? There's rumor of a dark race of halflings that live in Sithicus, but nobody's really like, And then when they talk about the former Dark Lord, they're like, there was a powerful undead warrior who once ruled. Like, I'm like, why?
Say Lord Soft.
Right. I don't understand why it was White Wolf published Swords and Sorcery. It was Swords and Sorcery Studios that got licensed to make Ravenloft, and I don't know if it was a contract thing, which doesn't make sense, because if I was Wizards of the Coast, I'd be like, yes, showcase the fuck out of the stuff from our game because we want more advertisement as well.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't get it, because like, you're already using our D20 system. You're already using a system that we made open, and we only ask that you refer to the player's handbook, the Dungeon Master Guide, and the Monster Manual. So I don't see why they would not refer to anything. I don't know. It was weird. But yeah, they licensed Dragonlance, they licensed Ravenloft, they made a whole new campaign setting, Eberron, and the only thing they updated was Forgotten Realms. They didn't touch any of the other settings, the whole edition. And had I known that, I'd have been like, well, guess I gotta update Spelljammer myself. But alright. So the Baylor, we'll finish this round real quick. Metzo and the drama.
Alright, so Mensor, he's gonna fly over to Belena.
And the Baylor's just punching on the force cage.
Yeah. So Mensor, his thing was already activated before. He's flying, his boots are winged. The winged boots. He's gonna fly over to Belena. He's gonna pass over him. He has a potion of flying, so he's gonna give it to Belena. And then standard action, he's gonna move over here and wait for Belena to catch up behind the tiger.
You're gonna fly over there, but okay.
So he flew, move action, or draw out the potion and pass it, and to give it to Belena. He's gonna fly by, and then standard action, he's gonna move over here, get closer in position.
Is he on the ground, or is he like flying behind the tiger?
So
he's like here.
Yeah, he's gonna use the tiger as cover.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to heal him. He's been a couple of rounds, so
right.
I think that's what at 177.
Remember, next time we play Matt, that Valena has the potion of flying.
Potion of flying. Cool.
Potion of flying, which leaves the drama. So the drama is yeah, Bela is trapped, so she doesn't have to worry about that. The casters. She's probably gonna.
She could do bless on Messor. Bless.
She did bless weapon on.
Okay, good.
Yeah, she did. Like, she used it. She only has it 3 times a day. She used it all earlier on Valenum, Metzwar, and Zionel. So for like the next 14, less than 14 minutes, they can bypass damage. That's good.
Nice.
So that leaves. So she's going to. She's going to see how Metz would. She's going to stay with the casters, keep them protected. She'll stay flying by the casters. Ready in action to she'll ready in action to like move towards an enemy that tries to like attack them. If Metsuo looks like he needs help, she'll fly over to help the Ravana. But as for now,
She's like Brienne from fucking
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Anybody see House of the Dragon?
We're not talking about it. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet either.
I haven't either. I'm
saw
honestly
it
not even motivated to watch it. To be honest,
me neither. I saw it
You gotta
tonight.
catch some Marvel shit before
I didn't really want to see it. I don't even want to give them the ratings, to be honest, because I hated how the rush that they did with the Game of Thrones. The money and resources they're spending on this bullshit now, this prequel 200 years ago, whatever. I wish they did season 8 better justice. They ain't rushing.
Oh, I agree. Now, I mean, people are raving about this show, and it's not being obviously it's not run by the same guys that fucked up with Game of Thrones, and apparently, and George Martin has a lot bigger like not influence, but a bigger hand in this show.
Doesn't this dude like not even finish the books though?
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, you know what? He needs to finish the fucking books. I don't know. I wish I knew what was in this man's head about finishing those fucking books.
Dude, right? If you didn't finish your work product, I don't want to undo it.
This man's writing prequel books before he even finishes the thing. I'm like, what?
There's so many.
He's just doing what he's inspired to do, as any artist.
I guess so. I mean, honestly,
fine, but go. Why don't they?
Honestly,
okay, let's go with R.A. Salvatore. You know, Ed Green. Hit up those dudes, man. Let's make a HBO series with them.
I mean, right? I can see him having a writer's block with Game of Thrones, with the main line. Man, that's a long time to have a 10-year block. It's a long fucking time.
Dude,
I guess it's possible.
Man. And now, thanks to HBO, he's making tons of more money just from all recycle work. He don't got to write. Why is he gonna stress?
I mean, that's another thing too. That's another thing too. He honestly probably doesn't have much. He probably had the writer's block, and then when he got rich, he just lost the motivation.
Remember, most authors
are poor. The first episode was the
90% of authors are 99% of authors are broke and poor. It's that 1% that make it, and they hit it big.
Oh yeah.
You know, like the Harry Potter book person.
Pretty much.
A few rare people, they make it big. That's it. They write the series and they're done. Never have to work ever again.
Shit. But oh yeah, that's right. You still got some Marvel shit to catch up.
All right, so we good for tonight, boys?
Which one have you not seen yet?
I gotta watch She-Hulk.
That's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only thing out now.
I gotta see the Marvels.
The Marvels.
The Captain Marvel fucking
Oh, Miss Marvel?
Marvel, yeah.
Oh, that was good. That was really good. I like that.
Head out. Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Bye, man.
Next week. Yeah, Miss Marvel was really good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed what they did. I enjoyed there's a lot obviously changed from her origin and even her shit from the comics, even her abilities. But I like it better than how she was done in the comics. I like this one. I'd say this is the first, because usually I'm just like neutral when it comes to like the shit that they change in the MCU compared to like the comics. I'm usually pretty neutral. I mean, it's the film. You gotta make changes that works in a film as opposed to like the comics. But like this is the first. I think this is the first MCU line where I actually like the MCU version better than the comic version.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I haven't started She-Hulk yet. Well, I asked the family, you guys want to just binge all 6 at once? You guys want to watch it once a week? Because it's annoying watching it once a week for a lot of us. I just would love to binge it instead. So everyone's like, let's just wait for all the episodes to come out. I'm like, okay, cool. But I heard it's doing really good, so that's a plus. Because I was kind of worried about that too. I was like, man, I hope they don't fuck up with She-Hulk. But I heard first episode was a blast for a lot of people. So, and the only ones complaining about the episode, well, are obviously the bunch of misogynists, pretty much. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's this one thing, there's this one scene that they're complaining about, and I think that was the only thing I spoiled for myself because I was curious about what they were bitching about, and I was like, these motherfuckers don't read fucking. First of all, these motherfuckers don't. Obviously, misogynists is hell. 1, 2, they obviously don't read the fucking comics because what she said in that scene that they're talking about, she said word for word in like a couple of years ago in the Avengers line of comics, like almost word for word. And I'm like, and it made sense then, and it still makes sense now. So I'm like, these the internet gives voice to a lot of fucking corny ass people. Is what the problem is. Like a lot of fucking people that don't deserve a voice that loud. So that's really all it is. And social media makes money off of conflict. So you're always going to hear you're always going to see that demographic be the loudest, and it ends up controlling the whole fucking conversation. It's like, whatever. I'm gonna just watch the show and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's Marvel, so I usually put a lot of faith in the fact that they're gonna keep me entertained. They really let me down, honestly.
Right. I'd say the only thing lately, there's only two. Actually, this recently, as of Phase 4, there's only 2 things that bugged me, and that's very very small number compared to how much shit that they've done. And the only 2 things was I can understand the director and the writers of Moon Knight wanting him to be his story as isolated as possible. They didn't want to stick too much, I guess, connections to like everything else that was going on and around. I just wish there was at least one. And they were supposed to. They were supposed to. But what happened was because of the pandemic, or whatever, they didn't get a chance to, because Moon Knight was actually supposed to come out after Thor, after Thor: Love and Thunder. And yeah, it was supposed to come out after Thor and Love and Thunder because they had to cut out a scene with Khonshu, actually talking about Gore. There was the scene where the Egyptian gods were actually talking about what Gore was doing. But because Moon Knight got released before Thor: Love and Thunder, they had to cut that whole scene out completely. But actually no, 3 things. Eternals could have been better. Could have been a lot better.
Eternals could have been better, yes. Could have been a whole lot better.
Yeah. It wasn't terrible, but I'd say it was like the most basic average. I watched it.
Terrible,
it wasn't
but it wasn't good.
Right. I'm sitting here like, okay. And then it was like, the Eternals will return. I'm like, yeah, okay. In like what, 3-4 years according to your schedule? Like, people are gonna forget everybody in here except for like fucking Angelina Jolie's character and the 2 fucking Game of Thrones brothers. Like,
well, for real, fucking what you call it? This guy Druid is gonna be playing what you call it? What's his name? Gonna be playing Joker.
I did see that. Yeah.
So
I
mean,
I heard he's gonna get the role of Joker.
He's gonna be getting the role of Joker there. He's already got his tie split up, kind of dipped between DC and Marvel now. He's over on DC side. So I mean, out of the 2 films, which one did the most numbers? The Batman did way better than Eternals. So if I was his agent, I'd be like, man, just lean into this goddamn Batman film, Joker film.
Right.
Especially since the other Joker that you're going up against is a musical.
For real.
So you have a good chance because like you're not going experimental with it. You're going based off of the success of the Batman movie. So
Yeah, we'll see.
You got the advantage. That's what I would be telling him. I'd be like, "Go, Joker, go! You better hope this fucking movie goes, motherfucker." I just don't like the fact that they have fucking Joker teaming up with people. Like, Joker is not a team
I
up
mean,
like that.
he he kind of does now and then, but he's always a fucking wild card when he does.
Joker's the kind of person where he's like he has to be in control somewhat. It's
Yeah.
not like,
Oh yeah.
and so like it's got to be a situation where it's not like a partnership. It's more like he controls that person. That person's like pretty much a henchman for all intents and purposes. Like if he doesn't have that, it's got to be like someone like Lex that's gonna at least split partnership with him. And
Shit.
even Lex, to some
I was
degree,
just right.
is only really has him there to keep him like as part of the group. Because if he doesn't invite the Joker, then the Joker's gonna get offended and ruin everything anyway.
Pretty
So
much.
like the only reason he lets him on the squad. But other than that, Joker doesn't team up with anybody other than Lex because he needs to have like control. He's not like
I think the one time he was in the one time he was in the Legion of Doom again, and I think Lex put him in charge. Lex put him in charge of like the funding and the creation of traps. And I think he confronted Joker on something, and Joker was like basically put him and everyone in everyone there in their place because he was basically like implying to them like, why do y'all think like I'm gonna work well as a team member, or even like you can control me in any sort of way? Because like what he had done secretly that none of them knew was that he also rigged the entire fucking headquarters with the traps, and he was fucking them all up with just the traps that he set up in their own headquarters. I was like, Jesus Christ, this fucking guy is crazy.
no.
But yeah, that was dope.
Well, I mean, it means to me that they're gonna have to go a completely different route than going with the comic Joker. Which I mean, because they're gonna have him teaming up with his first debut. He teams up with with the Riddler. Then I mean, I don't know what material they're drawing from. It must be like just their own version of the Joker, then,
Right.
which could be interesting. But it's a gamble, you know. I'd rather go with like seeing the Joker as he stands now in the comics, but like brought to life on the silver screen. But whatever.
But we'll see. DCU's gotta fix this shit up. Apparently, they just hired a guy, uh, Dan. I forgot his last name. But he's supposed to be their Kevin Feige
Mm.
because they're trying to start from scratch again. They're trying to, and then they want to follow the Marvel formula, and but to do that they said they need their own Kevin Feige, and they just recently hired a guy to be that person. So we'll see.
Because the Batman was good, so they could follow that up.
Right, and they greenlit a sequel. So
If I'm being honest with you, I think the Batman was better than the top Marvel movie for me. Doctor Strange was like even with Love and Thunder. I think the Batman was better than both of them. So I mean that's my honest opinion.
I liked it too. I guess I liked it a lot because it was very different from all the other Batman films, but it was still Batman.
Mhm.
It was still Batman.
Yeah, it was still Batman, and it was good. Like it kept you engaged. You know, it was fresh. It was new. It was well acted, well scripted. I dug it,
Right.
and it had and I guess it kind of like mirrored the mood that I was in because I wasn't like really in a mood to see like you know happy situations. You know what I mean? I wanted to see something grounded and gritty.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel, for all you know, their worth, they're good, but that's all they had available for this summer was, stuff that's gonna make you feel good. They had Love and Thunder, they had Doctor Strange. But Doctor Strange took a very dark turn because of Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah,
So
Doctor Strange too. Yeah, Doctor.
Doctor
Because
Strange, yeah,
Sam
yeah,
Raimi, wanted that horror element in there. So
yeah. Doctor.
it was the darker of the films. That was for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So I can't
but
say
yeah,
that.
Love and Thunder and the TV shows.
Yeah. They're trying to
Uh,
keep it light, and I get it. With the exception of Moon Knight, Moon Knight was
Moon Knight, yeah, Moon Knight
yeah.
was pretty trippy.
So they got their things.
But they mostly, yeah, I would say majority of them, yeah, oh, man, what was I gonna say? Well, it looks like they eventually going because it all depends on that Thunderbolts movie, that's for sure.
Yo, I really hope that they really dig into their bag of like adult things, because if it goes well and Mickey is pleased, then they could lean into the fucking Deadpool movie with the surety that like we don't have to pull punches
Mhm.
because we already softened their palate with Thunderbolts.
And then Thunderbolts is supposed to be the end of that's Phase 5 end, because then right after that's Fantastic Four. I'm really curious how they're gonna fucking do that one. They said Fantastic Four, they're not gonna really go into their origin that much. Not that they really need to even go that deep, because their origin's actually it's like one fucking paragraph. Like if you talk about it,
Yeah,
it's not really they could
they could Star Wars that and just fucking have it where it's just
right.
fucking
Yeah, that's what they said. They don't want to make it another origin film. I'm like,
crawl scroll,
right,
please.
right. You don't need
Or
to
just do the
go
flash
through it.
images that they be doing with Marvel, where they
Right.
show the image of what's going on.
Just do a quick 5 minute recap. What the fuck? How who they are? What happened to them? How they got their powers? And then just fucking start the film. Let's go.
Because it's safe to assume in this day and age that nobody's going to see a Marvel film without some sort of foreknowledge, a little bit of research before going in.
All right.
And even if they do go in blind, by the time they leave, there's so many people talking about it, they're gonna get informed. So you don't have to treat your audience like they're completely idiots.
So freaking yeah, I'm looking forward to the next the final Phase 4 film.
I want to
I want to
see
see that
what's
Black
going to
Panther
happen
2.
with Wakanda.
I
Wakanda,
said Black Panther 2. I need to know. I gotta know.
because it's clear they're gonna have to use Shuri. Clear.
I don't know.
Already
I keep
seen.
hearing Nikita is another candidate.
She
I don't
is,
know.
but I can't see her doing it. I can't see her putting the mantle on.
Right. I know.
Now
Like,
that
if
they
does it?
have
That's what I'm
the
saying. What
clear,
does it fit her character enough? Like, I mean, she is part of her. I think she is part of royalty because she's from one of the.
it's got to be Shuri, bro.
She's from one of the tribes, and I think she's
It's
like a royalty
Shuri.
from one of the tribes.
It's Shuri, bro. It's
Some
Shuri.
people were going around trying to say it was the queen. I was sitting here like, yo, chill,
Nah, fall back. Y'all are tripping.
chill.
They be reaching just to fucking feel different. Yo, it's the queen.
It's
Yo,
the queen,
calm down.
like
It's not Angela
no.
Bassett
That's what I'm saying. I'm
fucking
like,
with a goddamn
I'm
fucking
like, who's
finger on.
spreading this
Chill.
shit around? Don't let this catch fire. Stop.
But I would say it's Shuri because they have material to pull from if they want to fucking. Because, all right, Shuri was actually Black Panther during Doom War. When Doom goes to invade fucking Wakanda and take the vibranium. So it makes sense to make it her.
I'm hearing one theory. Well, and then you have your M'Baku fans trying to say that it might be him. I'm like, they're not gonna give it to M'Baku.
Nah.
Fan, fan,
That'd
fan,
be awkward.
fan. Yeah,
He's not even a
right.
fucking.
Fan favorite as he is. No, I
Yeah.
don't see. He's not gonna fit He's not gonna fit that.
You could be the Black Ape. You could be the Black Panther.
Right.
He's part of the
He could
fucking.
take. Yeah, he could take on the mantle he originally has, Man-Ape. Like,
Yo.
but I'm sitting here like now. Okay, this is one theory that's going around that because they're dealing with Namor and underwater shit, that Shuri actually develops Black Panther suits for like their army, and that's how they fight against Namor or some shit. So it's not like one particular Black Panther, like all the soldiers are Black Panthers. That's one theory that's going around. With Shuri, I guess, as the leader. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I think they're gonna make. They need a Black Panther
Right,
to
that's what I'm saying.
carry Shuri.
I'm like, as symbolic
So
as that
like,
is, you still need.
if they go that some shit like we are Black Panther. Even if they decide to go that route, you still need a
That's what
face.
I'm saying. You still need a leader. So
Like you gotta sell action figures and you gotta sell
that's what I'm
fucking
saying.
lunch
Right.
boxes and you gotta sell book bags and pencils. You gotta sell costumes for Halloween. What you do? You're gonna have just we come as the Legion of Black Panthers. Like that's not gonna fucking work.
It's
Like
gotta be. It's gotta be Shuri. And I think the one reason people are not like on board with like, yeah, it's definitely Shuri. Why a lot of people aren't completely on board with it is because they're trying to debate on like, well, she was raised. She wasn't raised as a warrior. She was raised as a scientist. So how's she gonna be trained and to be as good as her brother was when it comes to combat? Like, you just want to.
she just needs to be as good as her brother. She could make up for her shortcomings with technology. That she could lean on her actual strengths.
And that's why Ironheart's in there probably.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying. It has to be her, bro. It has to.
That's what I'm saying. Ironheart's gonna be like her aid when it comes to like the tech for like her Black Panther.
Because
For Black
Ironheart's
Panther
gonna have to be there to kind of like help run the lab when she's not in it.
Yep.
And she's out being Black Panther.
You know what? Now that you mention that, yeah, because she's running out being Black Panther. Who's gonna be head of the fucking science division?
Right.
Well, now you got Ironheart there, so Shuri's gotta be the Black. It's gotta be. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the end of the movie. My theory is the end of the movie they're gonna have the mom die.
Yeah, I could see that.
Shuri's gonna take over as because
As
they
queen,
already
yeah.
did it in the
As queen.
in the what you call the what if fucking episodes where Shuri becomes the regent of the Wakanda.
Oh yeah, they already did do that.
That's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't they do the movie? Like she was already regent.
Right.
They're letting you know that
They already,
pitching.
yeah, I was saying they already did do that. And what if is canon? Last I checked, it's canon to the MCU. So
Right, they're soft pitching it like, yo, Chad's gone, so imagine Shuri on the throne because that's eventually what's gonna be. Her mom is older than her, so she lives long enough. Chad's gone, so he's not sitting on the throne.
yeah, because they soft promoted that with Captain Carter. That's why she suddenly showed up in fucking Doctor Strange too, because they already showcased her in What If.
Yeah,
so
they're making everything transparent because it's one universe, so why not?
Right. Although Black Bolt was a fucking surprise, I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
I say that because like I knew Reed Richards was going to be in there, and it was and I was definitely on board with the actor that they chose for him. I was on the same board. I was like, yeah, I could see.
Yeah, he was a fan pick from like the jump,
from
way
the
before
jump.
fucking Marvel.
So like honestly, I was like at the edge of my fucking seat. Like, is it him? Is it him? And then he showed up. I'm like, I think I yelled. And if you were there, I think I yelled in fear. I was like, yes. I hope they keep him though, because like a lot of people are saying, he's just there for that variant of Reed Richards.
Yeah,
they might,
and I'm leaning towards thinking that too. Unfortunately,
I know. I was like, man, I could see him in that role. So
I saw who they cast for fucking Mr. Fantastic.
They casted somebody already?
Yeah, they're at least there's a rumor.
Oh, okay.
They were thinking of putting Henry Cavalli as Mr. Fantastic, but then it was also rumored that he would play something else in Marvel instead of Mr. Fantastic. But either way, I was like, he doesn't look anything like Reed Richards.
No, wait, Henry who? Cavill? Henry Cavill? Cavill?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill? Superman?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I would hate that.
No, he's become the face of Superman, though. What's the problem?
And now he's the face of Geralt.
Yeah, from The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
which I haven't seen yet.
Me neither, but I heard it's really fucking.
I heard it's really good too.
Good.
I heard it too. Me and Carrie need to jump on that because I heard it was really good.
You guys should play the game.
Every time I hear about the games, everybody talks about the third one. Witcher 3.
One. It's the best one in the series.
Witcher 3. So just skip the first two. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you don't have to play the first two. You don't.
Because I feel like I'm gonna be missing some lore if I don't play the first two. But so I'm guessing the Netflix show is mainly based off the third game anyway. I take it. Kind of a mix.
Kinda.
Is it more of a mix?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. It was just like its own thing, but it just influenced by the games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the Witcher 3 takes place after the books, so
okay.
That's why they give a lot of artistic liberty for it.
Oh, that's right. It is a set of books first. I've always seen it as a damn video game, so it's like I forget it was a novel. I forget it was novels first. But yeah, I gotta check out that show. I need to see that. I'd rather watch that right now than fucking House of the Dragon. Like, I just have no motivation for that. I have people ranting and raving, oh my god, I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. I felt the same way with Game of Thrones. We all know. But I'm eventually gonna watch it. It's just...
I mean, my thing is that if George R. Martin is even more influential,
he is.
He made me like fucking Ned Stark. He made me like Arya Stark. He made me like fucking Tyrion Lannister. He made me like so many. Well, no, just those characters for the most part.
I don't give him shit about. Yeah.
He made me like. I mean, I didn't have any qualms with Jon, but like, he's like
basic.
He's the lead hero, you know. Like
Jon was so basic for me. I could not stand that motherfucker. I was just like, whatever, dude. You're basic. Arya all the way.
Like, you know, like he made me like those guys. He made me like Daenerys. He made me like Drogo. That's why he died. No, Drake.
No,
it was Drogo.
It was Drogo. Yeah.
It was Drogo. Yeah,
Drogo. It was Drogo. Aquaman.
Yeah, like I mean, I dug those characters. So I'm like, if he can make me like those characters, and he has even more influence now, then I'm willing to at least see, like, all right, what are you gonna create? What are you gonna make for me?
Right, and honestly, I don't give him shit for like what happened with the show, other than he should have just finished the fucking books by now, so that they could actually have material to work off of. Because I don't know what the fuck they were working off of towards the end, but according to him, they stopped consulting him after season 4. And it's being brought up in the news again, even though he brought this up like a year or two ago already. He said this before, but apparently it's getting hype again now. But that he actually went to them and consistently told them, like, you need to make this show at least 10 seasons. You know, up to 13 was like he was saying like the max it should have been. And he was arguing for it to be at least 10. But the producers, the fucking the guys in charge, D&D, they didn't want to have any. They wanted to just stop everything right after season 8. They were done. They didn't want to bother with it or work on it anymore whatsoever. They just wanted to cut off from it completely. And I was like, damn. I was like, if they only had the right people to like finish the series, then you know it wouldn't be getting the flack that it's getting now. But no one can say it was entirely Martin's fault, because like he said after season 4 he hardly heard in his words he said they ghosted him. They ghosted him after season 4. So season 5 to 8 they had no consultation with him.
Damn.
0. Because I'm sure if they did actually consult him, we probably would have had a much different ending. Very much different ending. But yep, they ghosted him after season 4, and he argued on top of that he argued that they need to at least do 10 seasons. But they were like, no, we're gonna do our own thing. and then we're gonna leave, and then we're gonna try and do a Star Wars trilogy, and then we're gonna, it's like, yo, when they said that, everybody was like, no, you're already losing money just saying that. Ain't nobody. Oh, they backed off of that real quick. I think it was like a month after they said that, they were like, yeah, no, we're not gonna do a story. Yeah, nobody's gonna fucking want you to do one. Get the hell out of here. How you gonna come over Game of Thrones and have the fucking nerve to be like, we want to do a Star Wars. Like, you trying to destroy Star Wars too? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Shoot. I mean, go ahead. You'll make Rian Johnson look good again. Honestly, I didn't have a problem with episode 8. A lot of people did, but I was just like, I kind of like episode 8. I mean, it had its flaws, but overall. Anyway, time to, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm
all right.
that, man.
I need that sleep. All right, guys. Catch you next week.
Peace.